Swung on. There goes. Deep left. It is high. It is far. It is gone. Number 62 to set the new American League record. Aaron Judge hits his 62nd. All the Yankees out of the dugout to greet him. Just think of it. 3 Yankee right fielders. The Babe hitting 60 and 27. The Jolly Roger hitting 61 and 61. And now Aaron Judge hits his 62nd home run, the most home runs any American leaguer has hit in a single season.
I kind of felt bad for my teammates because like I said, every single at bat, I got teammates, stacked up. They're on top of the step, waiting for me to do this. And, I'd hit a double or I'd walk or I'd do something. I kind of felt like I was letting them down, So, and even the fans, all the fans that packed out Yankee Stadium, the fans that came here, they're here to see an exciting ball game and see something special. So, just having that mindset kind of helped me stay pretty calm. But there's definitely a little pressure in there, but you just try to block that out.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
$5 bidder now, $30 30, will you give me 30, make it 30 bidder, $30, will you give me 30?
Ah, yeah, the auctioneer. He's getting ready to sell that baseball. Going into Lunch Money here on a Wednesday. Ah, yes, number 62 has finally been hit. It was a long wait, Ray. It was a 61-year wait, but then we had to wait like another week to finally get it done by Aaron Judge last night.
Yeah, it's great that he got there. We were talking about it right before the start of the show. We really put a damper on what he has done this season if he didn't. I'm tip of the cap. He's got a chance to win the Triple Crown. It all comes down to what happens with Luis Arias here. There's like a 4-point difference in batting average, so we'll be watching that closely on the final day of the season. But just to put it out there, we've talked about it before. I can't believe this is a debate. It's not the record. It's the American League record. Cool. Mm-hmm. It's not the baseball record. I'm shocked by how many people out there. Really, I'm being serious. I'm really shocked by how many people out there are arguing that it's the record. I just don't understand that.
Well, that's why I would argue, Ray, sell that damn baseball now. Move on from that baseball. In fact, Ray, if he's in the lineup today against the Rangers, and I don't think he will be, I think they'll let this sit at 62. I haven't seen that lineup, but I would kind of guess they'll sit him today so that 62 will go down as the final number. But, Ray, if he were in the lineup today and hit 63, and we talked about this last week, I know a lot of auctioneers or memorabilia dealers would disagree with me, but Ray, I want the ball that's the last one. So like if 63 gets hit, I want that one. That's the one that means something to me. Now I am but one voice in this argument and I don't have $1 million, but if I think it's Corey Yeomans or Yeomans, whoever caught the ball last night, I'm selling that sucker today, Ray. It's off. $2 million. I'll take it and see you later.
Yep. Totally agree. His sake, let's hope that Judge doesn't hit another home run, right? It's still a 62nd. And again, people are looking at it as it's breaking the record. It was funny. I saw that Roger Maris's son said the true home run champ. And then a bunch of people, put a bunch of photos of him like hugging McGuire when he broke his record. So, I agree with you. I think that when we talked about this, like, could you sell it to Judge? Yeah, sell it to Judge. If Judge wants to pay you, sure. If Judge doesn't want to pay you, it's life-changing money. A couple $1 million, you got to sell it.
I also want to add, I thank the heavens for instant replay. Ray, I was one of the bumpkins who got up in the middle of the at-bat to go butter an English muffin.
What? You couldn't wait?
Now, Ray, the English muffin was good. Okay. I'm not hating. This is totally on me. I've watched enough baseball, Ray, to know that when history's there, you sit and watch.
Right. You can make another English
and granted, I was literally 5 feet away. So, I couldn't see the TV. I was around the corner. Right. But as soon as I heard, oh, there's a swing, I dropped the butter knife and ran in, and I saw the ball going over the wall. But I missed the swing. So I am that bad baseball fan because I needed at that very moment, Ray, I had to have the English muffin that my belly was feeling.
Were you able to rewind it? Like, could you, your live TV there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so you could watch it.
Right? And they showed instant replays.
Yeah.
Like, literally, they showed it 10 times.
Right.
So I missed the absolute moment, and I know you lose some of the excitement of the moment.
What were you doing?
I was buttering an English
I know,
muffin.
but
It was
why?
dinner time. A man's got to eat. Come
He
on.
does. You could. I'm so confused by this. Like, why did you even have the English
Think about
muffin?
it. There really is no defense. I'm not even going to put up an argument,
Okay.
Ray. It's, obviously at my stage in life, after 40 years of worshiping at the altar of baseball, I've now landed into this world where like getting my next meal has
Superseded
like
history.
it's pushed history to the side.
Well, the part I don't get is like why would you not wait until the next?
Because the
half
muffin
inning?
came out of the toaster. The muffin came out of the toaster, Ray. So I had to get it while it was still hot so that the butter would melt.
This is not like, Aaron Rodgers throwing his 500 touchdown pass randomly happening. You know the batting order, Kyle. You know when Judge is coming up. Like, you couldn't have waited until the next inning.
I figured I could guess the pitch maybe.
Okay.
And at max, I would miss one or two pitches.
Right.
I missed the pitch of pitches.
I mean, the
for an
odds are
English
pretty small
muffin.
that you would miss it, but still.
Yeah.
Still. All right. Interesting.
Just saying that. I'm going to remember that moment forever, Ray.
There you
Here
go.
I am with country crock on the knife,
Yep.
buttering my toasted muffin.
There you go.
In the chat room, they say totally would let you slide if it was a donut that you were up and getting, but a muffin, no way. Which again, I'm not really going to defend it, Ray. I made a mistake. I just made a mistake.
Like a shot of whiskey you were going to get it to celebrate with, or tequila or something.
Yeah.
You're going to pound a beer after the home run. Okay, but a muffin?
Yeah, or my wife had put in the shower or something.
Yeah, your child needed your help. Okay.
Yeah, no, but it was an English muffin. Now I did get thinking about it, and this is something I want to do throughout the day on Lunch Money. We're gonna have some fun with this. Yesterday we had some fun with memorabilia. I got to thinking, Ray, like this ball 62, what it's worth and what the Corey Yeomans does. And did you realize that he, the guy who caught 62, Ray, is married to like a Sports Illustrated reporter, like somebody that does TV on their website, not like somebody who writes. And 61 was caught by the husband of a Fox Sports reporter.
Right. Yeah.
Now this is all kind of eerie, isn't it? That members of the media, their immediate family, has caught ball 61 and 62. This is a little fishy to me. Even as a member of I was not offered, hey, Kyle, does your wife want seats at the Rangers game? You're a member of the media. We're putting everybody's significant other in the front row of the outfield. How does this happen, Ray? That 61 is caught by the husband of a media member, and 62 is caught by the husband of the media member.
It's random, right? There's obviously no way to predict where a ball would land or when a home run would occur. Maybe someone at a baseball game had to go to the bathroom, probably more likely than eating an English muffin, so they might have missed the at-bat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's one of those weird happenstances that occur in life, but it's very strange that on both of those balls, there is that connection. I will absolutely give you that.
Yeah. So just weird. I guess 63 today will be like the weatherman's wife is hanging out in left field there in Dallas, Texas. Okay, I want to do this memorabilia. This is going to be fun, Ray.
Okay.
This is something we can have participation in the chat room. Ray's going to enjoy this as well. Brian Drosday, Heather Klein, they've done some work on the back for this. So, Ray, what I've got is I went through the memory banks and I said, what are other cool pieces of sports memorabilia where we could say, do you want this one or do you want that one? And this is coming off the heels, of course, of number 62. Like, would you rather have 62 or this piece? So I put together, and not that any of these are available. I don't even know if some of them exist. I don't know. I was just kind of wondering if this existed, would you rather have this or that?
Right.
So Ray, we'll start with ball 62. That's the one of the immediate. It's kind of what we're terming a memorabilia showdown on this edition of Lunch Money. And we'll do this over the next 3 hours. So we've got ball 62, home run number 62. Would you rather have that piece of sports memorabilia, Ray, or would you rather have home run 73 by Barry Bonds? Like, if I gave you that choice, you can have this baseball or that baseball. Which one are you going with?
I will take the Barry Bonds ball. And I know, I've seen all this, the talk. I've seen the talk for years, and this has nothing to do with me living in the Bay Area. My position has been the same as it always, since this began. We don't know who did what when. So if you want to talk about, wiping out 20 years of baseball, have at it. We don't know who was doing stuff. It's not just the hitters that were doing stuff. The pitchers were obviously doing stuff. Players have cheated for the history of the game. That's a fact. And so I choose not to ignore, 2 decades of baseball, especially since we do have guys in the Hall of Fame, David Ortiz. People get a pass. I don't know why some players get a pass and others don't get a pass. The record's 73. I want the 73rd home run ball.
Okay. I think our chat room does too. Everybody's saying Bonds, Bonds, Bonds. I agree with that. I would want 73 over 62. In fact, Ray, I would argue the only people who don't want 73 are Yankee fans. They'd rather have 62,
or
I think.
Traditionalists that somehow think that no one ever cheated except for that 20 years, that don't realize that there wasn't integration in baseball till 1947, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah.
Yeah, give me 73 too. Okay, so we'll move forward. We've got Bonds, home run 73. Now the next choice, Ray, is a tough one in our memorabilia showdown. And as noted, I don't know if all these things are available, but I'm going to act like this thing's available. Would you rather have the ball that Barry Bonds launched for home run number 73, or would you rather have the white Ford Bronco that O.J. Simpson and A.C. Cowlings, was that right?
Is that right? Yeah.
Would you rather have that Ford Bronco right there, Ray?
That photo.
A classic piece of American machinery. Would you rather want that piece of memorabilia or Bonds number 73?
Yeah, we talked about this recently, right? I was at the Giants game the first time I'd ever been at Candlestick to a luxury box while that chase was occurring. Where were you? You were somewhere too, Kyle.
I was in my basement trying to watch that NBA Finals game between the Knicks and the Rockets.
Okay. I can't put a Bronco on my mantle, and I honestly, we can talk about steroids. Murder's different, so I'll take the baseball.
I'm the car here.
Okay.
I want the Bronco. Ray, how awesome. And not that you would ever park this in your driveway.
Would you drive it? Yeah.
I don't know if I'd drive it. I actually would. I would drive it. Right?
Take it to the grocery store.
I want the Ford Bronco. Like, this is something I can really put my hands on. Ray, here's what I would argue. I want that piece of memorabilia because literally everybody walking the earth would think that's cool. The baseball, Ray, I show it to a cricket fan. They're like, who cares? I show it to my mom. She doesn't care. Number 73, she didn't know what that means. The OJ White Bronco, Ray, that engenders respect. People dig you if you got the OJ Bronco in your driveway.
I don't know the answer to this, but knowing what OJ has tried to do since he got out, is there like a huge OJ Simpson signature on the dashboard of that? Do you know anything about the car? Like, I wonder.
I know nothing about that car. Okay. And I would guess somebody probably has it in a private collection.
Somebody has to, yeah.
Yeah, it was evidence for a while.
And they quietly sold it at a police auction for $700 one day. I don't know. I wonder if they tore it up.
But here's the thing, Ray. I guess since OJ was acquitted because the glove didn't fit, that we had to acquit him. They probably gave him the. I would suspect, and he might have needed to immediately sell it to pay off his lawyer fees. So,
according to Auto Evolution, this is in 2020. The Bronco is on loan on display at Alcatraz East Crime Museum in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. So
I was just, Ray, if I had known that, I went to the Smoky Mountains, at the beginning of August. Pigeon Forge is, we went through Gatlinburg. Pigeon Forge is like 5 miles away. Pigeon Forge's kind of a dump. It's worth going to for a day. Like, Pigeon Forge is 4 miles of, redneck Las Vegas. Is pretty well what it is. It's 4 miles long stretch. Everything under the sun. You got maze rooms. You've got putt-putt. You've got racing cars. Like, it's just a carnival for like 5 miles. It's crazy. It's worth going to for a night and then getting the hell out of there. Ray, if I had known this Bronco was in Pigeon Forge, that would have been the first place I would have gone. And my wife, this speaks to the fact of the memorabilia. Ray, if I told my wife, hey, Pigeon Forge has Barry Bonds' 73rd home run ball, or we can go see OJ's white Ford Bronco.
Right.
I mean, Ray, that wouldn't even be a question of which piece of memorabilia we're going to see.
And your kid loves cars and vehicles, so he would have voted that if he had an option too. That was 2020, so I don't know if it's still there. I assume it is. I do see a report here on Bleacher Report that, Pawn Shop, Pawn Stars, or whatever the hell it is on TV. Someone offered, Simpson's former agent offered to sell it to them for $1.25 million in 2017. So I guess they didn't get the price he wanted and eventually donated it to a museum. I don't know. This is a mystery to me, Kyle.
Well, here's yesterday we were doing our little, guess the price on auction material. And for some reason that like X-Wing that's like the size of your fist went for $1.4 million. Ray, if somebody told me I could have the white Ford Bronco for 1.2, or I could have that stupid X-Wing figurine for 1.4.
No, 2.4.
2.4. I could have bought 2 OJ Ford Broncos for the price of 1 X-Wing model. Give me the Ford Bronco, Ray. Give it to me.
So messed up, Kyle.
Okay, but everybody says they want to stick with Bonds ball. That's what the chat room says. So, okay, the chat room wins. I've got one more piece of memorabilia for now. Okay. But now we got a lot of these coming your way through the show. Our next piece of memorabilia, Ray, do you want to keep Barry Bonds number 73? Or we are offering the hat and radio headset worn by Steve Bartman at Wrigley Field, Ray. You get the hat, you get the headset. He was probably listening to the game as it happened. Do you want the Barry Bonds ball or this historic piece of clothing worn by the legendary and infamous Steve Bartman?
Poor guy. Baseball. Not even close.
Baseball.
Not
Same
even
with you in the chat room. Everybody's saying the ball.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, what was I watching? Oh, I was watching the movie Halloween, the most recent one they did, a couple years ago, because the new one's coming out like in 10 days. And I'm just thinking to myself, if you were involved like in a small town like Haddonfield in the movie where people are murdered by a serial killer and you were like on the cusp of getting murdered, you were a kid running around, you saw, like, why wouldn't you move? Why?
Not everybody is granted enough, walking cash to just get up and move from a bad neighborhood.
Well, I know, but that's like the Bartman thing. Like that guy should have moved to California the next week. Like, why would his family not have gotten him the hell out of Chicago? I mean, my God, Moises Alou almost beat him to death at the time. I mean, geez, Louise. So yeah, I'd take the baseball, Kyle.
Okay, still doing the baseball. Now, if it were me and it's the Bronco or the Bartman get up, I'm keeping the Bronco. I realize Ray is holding on to Bonds baseball. I am holding on to the Bronco. The chat room seems to be holding on to the baseball too. Now, I've got really good sports memorabilia coming your way. Ray does not know what we're going to offer for his Barry Bonds ball 73. Now, Ray, I will tell you there is no miniature Millennium Falcon that I'm going to offer for this Bonds ball 73. Like, there's no this size of Millennium Falcon that they use like on one scene of the original Star Wars. That's not available.
You mean? It's funny you said this again. This is not planned. I didn't even know what we were going to talk about. You mean something like this, Kyle?
Yeah, something like that, right?
An actual mini Millennium Falcon?
They call that a minimum Falcon, right?
This was actually made by my partner. It's one of those things you buy the little flat metal pieces and then you get little tools and you put it together.
And it glued together?
No, it's all bent together. So,
oh wow,
like little tiny pliers and everything. Like this took hours.
Wow.
It looks stupid because it's 2 inches long, but it legitimately took hours.
She did a hell of a job on that thing.
Yeah, I mean I know the camera doesn't quite focus in, but
I finally found out the talent in the family is not Ray. I know who the talent in the family is.
Yeah, of course it's not me. I told you yesterday she's a doctor and a lawyer. I'm falling way behind. But yeah, that's it.
So to be a metal worker.
You had no idea, Kyle, that I actually had a mini Millennium Falcon at my fingertips.
Very good. So that came as like a flat piece of tin or whatever?
Yeah, like it's a little 5x7 pack, and it's just flat pieces of metal.
And she bent it into place.
Yep.
Wow.
So it's like it's the same thing as like a Lego, but just with metal. But yeah, little tweezer plier, like tiny little needle nose pliers, and get in there, and it took hours. Yeah.
Ray, that is love. Dare I say that is love, Ray? Absolutely. You may not call it love, but I, as an outsider looking in, Ray, That is love. I'm just telling you. We have found true love here today on Lunch Money. Okay, so Ray's still holding on to Bonds, home run ball 73. I'm still holding on to OJ's Bronco. The chat room, I think they're still in on Bonds ball. So I've got more coming, although the chat room seems to also want to trade in the Bonds ball for your Millennium Falcon, Ray.
Yeah, and it seems like the chat room might want to trade me in for my doctor, lawyer, sculptor partner.
Why are you even working? I mean, she's a doctor, she's a lawyer, she puts tall buildings together.
Yeah,
An architect, a metal work. I mean, this is amazing.
I like doing this. I don't know. I like doing this. I'm a glutton for punishment. I love 12-hour work days. I don't know. I'm crazy.
Now here's the next question. Get in the game wonder, does she cook too?
Yes.
Wow. Does she do laundry?
She does laundry. I do my own laundry.
Oh,
but she does laundry.
So are you particular about how things are folded? And
it's more that she's particular, so we just keep them separate. So I let her do her thing, and I just do mine. But yeah, she's a pretty impressive individual. I think that's fair.
Okay. Well, we will return to our memorabilia showdown. We will sprinkle that in throughout today's show at Lunch Money. Again, we're with you until 3:00. Now we do still have to get to our lunch menu. Ray, we start with the appetizer. What are you thinking about this? Besides the fact that you could have had OJ's white Bronco for $800,000 and you said no, what are you thinking about today on the appetizer?
It's all right. I got a mini Millennium Falcon right here, Kyle. All works out in the end. I'm probably going to get in trouble here. Okay. I'll just say it from the top, but we're having a good fun time. So it's
Ray's going to tackle critical race theory on this show, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's it. This will be the last day that you'll ever see me again. No, I mean, we had this talk the other day about Alvin Kamara, right? And should people have been allowed to make changes because the game was in Europe? If they were asleep on the West Coast, it was 6 a.m, 5:30 in the morning when the actives came out, all that kind of thing. And you and I both said, look, it's the responsibility of the owner to do it. So there's no, take do-overs. If you weren't up, you get screwed. It's unfortunate. But I'm really tired because I've seen this a lot the last couple of days of all the people, because on Twitter at the Ray Flowers, I put the question out as we were doing the discussion here. I'm really tired of all the people that responded and said, it's your responsibility. You got to do it. You got to do it. Wake up, set your lineup. By everyone that lives on the East Coast, every person I asked said, you got to get up and set your lineup. I asked them, where do you live? Well, I live in New York. You've never, anyone on the East Coast, the world does not revolve around you. I know it does, but it doesn't. You have never gotten up in your entire life at 5:30 in the morning to set a fantasy lineup. Don't lie. Do not lie to me. The only way you've done that is if you stayed up all night and you were still on your phone, or you woke up because your dog puked or your kid was sick. You have never woken up to set a fantasy lineup at 5:30 in the morning. So before you sit there and say, of course it's your responsibility to do it, realize that it's 5:30 in California, it's 4:30 or 3:30 in Alaska, and it's 2:30 in Hawaii. Okay? Number one.
Well, wait a second, Ray. Let me slow you down here.
Okay.
You were just saying people who live in a neighborhood full of murders wouldn't leave. If you hate this time zone thing, get the hell out of your beautiful California abode. Move out of the state. Ray, come to Virginia. Virginia is for lovers. You and your lady can come out to Virginia, and you'll have a perfect time zone for setting your lineups.
Okay. I'm not about myself. I'm not egocentric, so I'm not moving to the East Coast where everyone thinks it's all about them. I can't do it, Kyle. Number one. Okay.
Yeah.
Number two, building off this. No, I'm not done.
North Carolina. It's all about them. I get it.
Yeah. I'm not done yet here either. The NFL, let's all be clear about this. This is not your fault because you live on the East Coast. It's not my fault because I live on the West Coast. This is the NFL's fault. The NFL does not care about you unless you live on the East Coast. That's the only group of people they care about in North America. They don't care because they know no matter what they do, no matter what disasters happen off the field, on the field, no matter what, you're going to keep watching football because they're doing it again this week. We have another game in Europe. We have another game that starts at 6:30 on the West Coast. The NFL doesn't care.
I hate to break it to you, Ray. In 10 years, we're going to have a team in London.
Yeah,
okay?
and then I will stop doing this and siphon off my partner, who's the doctor lawyer, because that'll be it. Because this is ridiculous. The league doesn't. I mean, Kyle, they're scheduling games to be played when they know half of North America is not even awake. They're not even interested. Like, what are they doing? They care more about capturing Europe than about you, who spent all your money, all your time, all your interest playing fantasy sports, buying jerseys, buying tickets, buying subscriptions to all these different websites. They care more about Europe than they care about you.
They do, Ray, because you know what Europe does? They spend money. Your fantasy football league, Ray, you're playing for free. Okay, you're not spending any money with the NFL. They don't care about your fantasy team because you're not spending money to play fantasy football. People in London are spending money. TV networks are spending money. I watched the game, at least the first half, and then I was pulled away for other Sunday morning duties. But I did watch the game on Sunday, and I'm a Midwesterner. I got up early and knew that Alvin Kamara was out. Now, I because of my great ability to see the future, I did not draft Alvin Kamara this year anywhere because I knew there would be situations like this. I feel, Ray, that people will still be complaining about this decision weeks from now. Like, it used to be, I got injured in week 8, or, my stud, Mike Evans had 1 catch for 2 yards in week 15 and I lost. I got a feeling people are going to look at Alvin Kamara and act as if he was going to total 25 points with Andy Dalton last week, and they think that's why they lost. I've had zeros before and won. Getting a 0, Ray, does not doom you to failure in the fantasy game, but I guess everybody thinks it does. You're finished if you get
I just, again, and to reiterate, I said that if it played out that way, it sucks, but tough. I mean, that's just the way it works, but it's not fair. It's not right. TMCC 13 in the chat room is saying, what about every Monday, Sunday, Thursday night game that ends 11:30? What the hell does that have to do with anything?
Well, I can't stay up and watch football. It's very important to watch the games, Ray, and to be able to make judgments based off what you actually see with your eyes. We always recommend listen to Ray Flowers, and if you can't do that, actually watch the games.
DVR the game and watch it the next day.
It helps the fantasy player.
DVR the game and watch it the next day. But
set your alarm clock, Ray, and wake up when the actives and inactives come.
Yeah, before the sun. That was what someone said to me. I said, look, because someone said, what if I was in church, or what if I had a brunch? That's at 11 o'clock. Okay. If the sun isn't up, that's a different scenario than if your life includes you doing other things during the middle of the day.
I've got no issues with this. I am in full-throated support of games in London. If nothing else, it pisses off my co-host, which I'm always down for. Keep them coming. In fact, Commissioner Goodell, I would recommend probably a game in New Delhi next season, just so that Ray, I don't know, what is that, Ray? Probably.
I have no idea.
We're going to play a game next year in Seoul, South Korea. Then Ray's really going to be pissed off. Okay. My appetizer is more Aaron Judge. And mine's not too long. I'm just wondering, Ray, what's he worth now? What is Aaron Judge worth? He's a free agent going into the market. He turned down what he turned down. I wrote it down. He turned down 7-13. So Ray, that was 7 years, $30 million a season. Mm-hmm. He turned it down. So he obviously thinks he's worth more now. He's 31 years old, coming off a massive seasons. Like literally, Ray, this will be one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen. Like total play, home runs, ribbies, batting average, on base percentage, OPS. Like this goes down as one of the best seasons we've ever seen in the history of baseball. Truly is. I think some people are saying top 10 ever as a hitter. Ray's not, but people are saying top 10 ever as a hitter. What's he worth, Ray? Like what is Aaron Judge going to get in free agency?
He's played, if we take his first season out, he's played 6 years. And one of the years was a COVID year. Okay, that sucks too. But in 2 of the 5 seasons, he hasn't played 115 games. And he's dealt with a lot of injuries. He is physically different than every other player who's ever played, right? So there's obviously concerns about how his body will age and all those we don't know the answer. He's 30 years old. He'll be 31 next April. Are you going to give a 10-year? Are you going to pull a Pujols here? Are you going to pull a Miguel Cabrera here? Is some team going to do that? And have a guy that, the second half of his contract is hoping just to be average? So, what's he worth? I mean, he's the centerpiece of an offense.
He's got to pull. Don't you think he's got to pull $300 million from somebody?
Well, I think the real question is how long will the contract be? I think a lot of teams again, if I'm a GM or owner, there's no way in hell I'm giving him a 10-year contract. I can't do it. I can't.
Let me stop you there. There was an article by ESPN. A lady went around. She asked front office personnel, "What's he worth?"
Right.
The number they kind of came up with, the average, I think it was 8.5 years. So obviously you can't do half years, but it was like 8.5 years, 320.
Okay.
That's almost 40 million a season, 8 years, which would get him close to 40 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Now you say no to that.
I say no to that.
You wouldn't do that.
Absolutely not. Would I do
Ray,
5 years, 200? I could do something like that. I could overpay for the shorter.
The problem is Judge doesn't want to take that, Ray, because that's in effect his last contract.
Right.
He's a free agent at 36, and barring something just totally bonkers going on, his next contract is 2 years, 32 million. At the age of 36 or something like that. He'd be going into the Nelson Cruz, aspect of his career.
Right.
He's gonna want 7 or 8, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think of all the hype here, the excitement, everything, the year he's coming off. He's wanting 7 or 8. And Ray, I really feel the Yankees will do it. Like, the Yankees can't not do it. Yes, I know it's a double negative, but they have to do it, Ray. And I think they may understand it's not the right choice for the long term, but this is the Yankees. There's a ton of memorabilia and sales you get out of keeping Aaron Judge, making him a lifelong Yankee. Ray, they will make a bad deal, but I think the Yankees will be fine with that bad deal. They're the Yankees. They can, it's like the Dodgers. They can wallpaper any bad deal with more spending, I think.
I'm not disagreeing with that sentiment. I think that we have to be careful. We say all the time, don't chase in the fantasy game. Well, we're chasing in the real world here with Aaron Judge. He's never going to have a season like this again. Let's be honest. If you look at the last 4 years, you compare him to this year, his batting average is up 30 points. His OPS on base percentage is up 50 points. His slugging percentage is up 140 points. His OPS is up 100 points. Like, no, he's not even this guy. As great as he is, he's not even this guy. So, you toss in the age, you toss in the track record of bumps and bruises. I mean, I'm not saying that someone won't give him 7 or 8 years. I think it's a mistake. It's not the money.
I think it's a mistake. I totally agree with you. It's not a good move, but I really feel he's getting it. He's getting 8-3-20.
Well, the problem with it, and the problem here, John, is there's 5 teams in baseball. Excuse me. There's 5 teams in baseball that can pay it. 4 teams in baseball that can pay it. So
you doubt the spending capabilities of the Pirates? Right?
In the Athletics? I do.
You don't think Bob Nutton has been holding on to all of his money, hoarding it for just this very moment?
I don't. I actually don't. And so
let's say, Ray, are there more than 5? Okay, Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
Mets obviously will spend. They'd love to steal Aaron Judge.
Sure.
Like, you keep him in New York. The Giants have money, right?
Giants
they got a lot of money.
The Giants could
and
get involved.
is he from? He's from Northern California, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that's right.
So there's that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Dodgers are always in play. Now, I don't think the Dodgers are really in play for this Aaron Judge. They got Betts, they got Freeman, they got Turner as a free agent.
Right.
Like, they need to worry about Trey Turner
a
lot more than Aaron Judge.
Right.
Boston, I know everybody considers Boston a spender, but I don't know if they're really like that much anymore. Plus, they've got Bogarts.
Yeah.
Who's a free agent. They got to spend money on Devers coming up. Mm-hmm. So I could see, follow me, Seattle making this kind of splash.
I mean, they signed Julio, but it's reasonable for the.
Yeah, well, they're getting Julio for free.
Yeah, right now.
I could see Seattle making that splash. Trying to think. I mean, the Cubs.
Yeah, but the Cubs don't spend money. I know, but
no, they spend money. They're in a rebuild now. But they'd spend money on Aaron Judge. Like, Ray, you got to think you're bringing in the 7th best single season home run hitter of all time. That's who you're bringing. Like, I think there are more than just 2 or 3 teams. I think there might even be more than 5 teams who would be in on this.
Well, the good news is, too, for Judge is that as far as I'm aware, there's never been any off the field stuff with him. Right. There's never scandals or anything like that, which is saying something when you play for the Yankees because everyone's looking for it too. Right. So he's off the field, seems like a decent enough person. Right. So you don't have to worry about that aspect.
He seems like a great person, Ray. I mean, there's really, like, you don't look at Aaron Judge and go, wow, what a jagoff.
Right.
Like, he doesn't come off that way at all.
No. So that's terrific. And that's really important because a lot of times in sports, we don't care. We just look at the talent and then these guys are morons. So, again, this is, and it'll be interesting, whatever he signs for however much he signs, there'll be the accounting, right? And all the stories will come out, and we'll have all these fancy, people that are, economists and everything say, well, it's worth the deal if this war is this and all that kind of, and they'll justify whatever the contract is. But at the end of the day, the contract's going to be front loaded like bananas in terms of production. If it's this 8-year deal, the first 5 years, okay, the last 3 years are not going to be good. The last 4 years may not be good with this guy. So it's one of those things that if you're going to spend the money, you have to be in a position to spend against the mistake, right? Because you can't have a guy making $41 million being your 6 hitter. Like that doesn't work if you're trying to be competitive unless you have the money or a great farm system, unless you have the money to spend against that in the later years of the deal.
Yeah. Well, I just say, Gray, if he turned down 7 to 10, let's just say he stays at 7 years.
300?
He's going to be asking 320. I mean, you're coming off this year. Remember, he bet on himself, Ray. Have you heard that? He bet on himself.
Can't wait to see what Lamar gets. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a lot. And the other thing to think about here, we have seen a lot of players sign and get the opt-out. I don't think that's happening here with Judge, because that's really
it's just dumb.
It helps the team because they can get out. They can say, hey, we'll give you 6 years for $250 million, but there's an opt-out in year 2. If the guy's performing, he opts out. If the guy's not performing, you're stuck with him. But Aaron Judge isn't going to sign that because he, in effect, already opted out this year. He already made that bet. He wants the money guaranteed. Let's put it in my back pocket and move on. The other thing to think about with teams, Ray, is if you say, hey, you can have Aaron Judge this offseason, or Juan Soto next offseason, why wouldn't you just wait for Juan Soto?
Not even close.
Yeah. I mean, was he 8 years younger?
Yeah, let's look it up to just verify it. 7 years younger. Yeah, it's not even close. Yeah. And that is a great question, because we all thought when the Padres, picked up Soto, there was all that thought, well, they got Machado, they're paying this money till they got Tatis. Are they going to find Soto? And then we heard a lot of, well, this is a 2-year thing and we'll see. And so there's been no push that's at least public that the Padres and Soto are anywhere close to signing a long-term deal. So yeah, I mean, if I'm the general manager, I'll give 10 years to Juan Soto, no problem. Nope. There's no possible way I'd give 10 years to Aaron Judge. It's a 7-year difference in age. It's huge.
And in our chat room, people are bringing up good points. Hey, the team will make money regardless. And that's so true of baseball. Even the sucky teams make money. And Ray, the perfect example, look at Detroit and Washington. Right now, those are 2 awful franchises who aren't winning. One of the reasons they're not is they've got an albatross of a contract with Miguel Cabrera in Detroit and Steven Strasburg in Washington. But they're making money. They're losing like crazy, right? But the Nationals are still making money. The Tigers are still making money. So even the idea that, if you give Aaron Judge all this money, it's not going to be worth it at the end. A team may say, hell, nothing's worth it at the end. we get our money either way, whether we win 70 games or 110. We're still making some change and still making some bucks in those years.
But the teams say they're not making money.
Yeah, teams do.
Teams say that.
They are, though. Just look at that Nationals team, Ray. You think whoever buys that team, because they're currently for sale,
right.
You think whoever buys that team cares in the least that they're a losing team this year?
No.
They're worth billions.
Totally agree. But realize that they're going to suck as a team because Steven Strasburg's making $140 million the next 3 years, and they're paying $20 million a year to Patrick Corbin. They're going to suck. They're spending They spent $60 million on Patrick Corbin and Steven Strasburg this year. You can't.
Yeah, but they got Corey. But they have Corey Abbott for $600K. Paulo Espino, $580,000, Ray. You got to think about the bargains that they have as well.
That's true. Great point, Kyle.
That is our appetizer. We shall see in the winter. I still think he's with all in all, Ray. Does he stay with the Yankees or go elsewhere? I think he's with the Yanks.
I'm going to say he leaves.
Okay.
Surprises and leaves.
Okay. We'll see. I think some of it may have to do with how this postseason goes too. If the Yankees are kind of a one and done, which would be a disaster, maybe they do move on and say, hey, my God, we had this guy have this kind of year and we still got knocked out in the second round of the playoffs. So we shall see on that front. Continuing through our lunch menu, the main course, we've already started it. We're going to have the memorabilia showdown. We got a bit more of that coming up in a bit. In terms of sides today here on Lunch Money, we will start getting you set for week 5. We've got more injury updates to get you. I've got my ever famous top 10 for week number 5 that is coming your way. We'll sneak in some numbers. We've got our lunch hunch. Duke's Den will be coming at you over the next few hours. A little baseball as well. Today is the final day of the regular season. And if you're noticing that Ray Flowers looks a little more chipper, that's because his long, enduring nightmare is almost over, Ray. It's been a long haul for you this year, hasn't it?
It has, and this is the last workday, I hope, for a while at least, that I have to get up at 6:15 in the morning, which is not the end of the world if people get up that. But the 6 to 7 shift every day does get a little tiring. So yeah, it's a bittersweet ending to the season. I mentioned this in the most recent podcast over at fantasyguru.com. If people want to get involved, by the way, code Bettor, BETTOR, you get a discount on all the products over there. It's a bittersweet end because you hope everyone that was over with us at fantasyguru.com had a good season. You hope that at least they enjoyed the experience. I always tried to, me, I always put 100% into everything I do. So you get to the end and it's like you have that release of when you reach the goal, which is the last day of the season, and then it's like, well, what do I do now? So it's like I don't even know. Am I going to feel good sleeping in another 45 minutes? Do I wake up at 6:40 in the morning because hell, I'm getting up at 6:15? Who knows, Kyle?
Well, I hate to break it to you, Ray. I just got news from our head honcho, Jeff Mann's. Your rankings of all 775 players, they are due tomorrow, looking ahead to 2023. So get those rankings together. Hurry up on those.
I did get a chuckle last week when someone asked me if I could give them my top 40 pitchers for next season. I'm like, bro, no, I can't. Like that takes months of analysis to get to.
Oh no, Ray, I put together my top 10 in like 45 seconds.
Yeah, well, that's good. Maybe you're better at this than I am, Kyle. Maybe we should switch spots where I host and you.
No, you don't need to put too much thought in it because here's the thing. You're gonna say this is my early top 40. Right. This is before trades. This is before free agency, off-season procedures and surgeries. Ray, it's gonna be in the trash in 2 weeks anyway.
I know. Well, that's
so give it that much time. Just send it out, make the man happy, and he's got a top 40 that literally means nothing come next March.
Yeah, and then I'll get yelled at because he dropped pitcher 41, which ended up being pitcher 27 when my final rankings were done. So yeah, I think.
Don't worry about it, Ray.
Okay.
Come on,
that never happens, Kyle. You're right. Yeah.
Bet du jour. Got a bet for us, Ray?
I do, and I'm going to stick with baseball one last day. Got to do it. Adrian Sampson has been terrific for the Cubs, and he's had some nice matchups to here down the stretch, and he's got another one today. There's always, we saw a lot of guys happening to yesterday and stuff. There's always a chance a guy gets shut down and throws, 39 pitches or something, but I don't know why they would do that with Sampson today. So I feel pretty confident. He's a minus 110 to get over 16 and a half outs. He's got his last 5 outings, all quality starts. His ERA is 1.16. His whip is under 1. He has gone 6 innings in every one of those outings, and he is pitching phenomenally. And he faces the Reds, which stink. So I'm doing it. Minus 110 to go over 16 and a half outs. Adrian Sampson today.
Okay, there it is. Ray's bet du jour. As for me, Champions League is back today. A little international soccer competition taking place in Europe. Now, our man Duke, I think he's going to have some Champions League picks. I don't know what he thinks of this one, but I am taking PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, who is actually visiting Benfica in a battle today. PSG, for those, Ray, you've heard of Lionel Messi, right?
I've heard, of course, the hand of God. Okay. Yes.
Okay, he played. No, that's Diego.
Oh, Diego close.
Lionel Messi is of the current day.
Yes.
He still plays in 2022, although he is from Argentina.
Okay,
so you had the country right.
Okay,
but you had the stellar player incorrect. Anyway, Messi plays for PSG. Neymar, who you maybe have heard of. A Brazilian, he plays for PSG. Mbappe for France, he plays for PSG. They're a loaded team, Ray. They're like the Yankees of the European clubs.
Okay.
Now, they don't always win, but they're really good. They're playing Benfica today. They're a minus 115 to win. It is tough to go to Benfica and win, but that kind of talent wins. PSG named a new manager a while back. They are 10-0-1 under that new manager, so they keep it rolling today. Champions League, bet du jour, minus 115. Take PSG for the road victory. That's you don't get PSG for minus 115. Today, you can get it. As for our dessert today, if you are a bar hopper, which Ray kind of is, Ray, I like to find a bar and sit at a bar.
Right.
Ray, you kind of like to bounce around from place to place, right?
I do. There's a lot of couple local areas where you can do that. So like kind of all in the same kind of strip, small town kind of thing. But yeah, I want to do that on occasion.
Well, for those who are a little like Ray and they like to bar hop, I've got the 50 top bars in the world to bar hop to.
Wow.
So if you're interested in creating a bucket list, one that will probably get you checked into AA, we will tell you about that coming up a bit later in the show. Finally, Ray, our drink of the show, drink of the day. What are you having virtually on this edition of Lunch Money?
This beer has got a little bit of orange peel and coriander tint to it. I didn't really taste the coriander.
Blue Moon.
What is that?
It's called a Blue Moon.
Yeah, no, it is not called a Blue Moon. It is a Belgian white ale, though.
That's what a Blue Moon is.
That's what I said. I know. I knew that even though I didn't know Maradona. It is a Suiyobi no Neko. Okay.
Just call it a Blue Moon. At least then we can pronounce it.
Which actually means Wednesday cat. Can you read the Wednesday cat? It's Wednesday, right? It's a Wednesday cat. Boom. So it's a Belgian white ale from Japan.
Okay, so it's a Belgian white ale from Japan
Right.
that is being drank in California.
Correct.
And is now being shown worldwide.
Correct.
Man, the times we live in.
And it's officially, the name is translated as Wednesday cat. So
Wednesday cat.
it's actually, a nod to, at the Dexter Kitty, my little kitten friend there. But because there's so much, talk about Ollie at Ollie Aussie Dog. So much talk about Ollie that I needed a little kitten. And again, it's a Wednesday cat. So it's just perfect, Kyle. It's Wednesday.
Is this like the official beer of all those Hello Kitty fanatics? Like,
I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that Hello Kitty makes wine and sake, which is kind of.
Could anybody explain what the hell's going on with Hello Kitty? Like, what is that? Of course, they would probably say, "What the hell's going on with Mickey Mouse?" Like, why do you guys dig that? I mean, the Hello Kitty. This is not Hello Kitty, but it is a kitten.
Hello Kitty is a kid thing, right? I know adults, but it's a kid thing, and you have wine and sake. Like a kid's gonna grab that thinking it's a soda, and then he's drunk on his bicycle if they sell it to him. I don't know.
Okay,
Wednesday
well, cat beer. You should feed that to Dexter. See how he reacts to that Wednesday cat brew.
He's good with his catnip, I think.
Yeah. For me, since we had the big home run in Texas last night, I said, man, let's keep it in the Lone Star state. Now, I will not have a Lone Star beer. I'm going to break away from the beer. Okay. I am going to have a Tipsy Texas tea, which is sweet tea with tequila and fresh lime.
Okay.
Sounds good. Now here's the key, Ray. You probably don't know this because you live out west and you're always sleeping. When the rest of the world is up and doing things, Ray continues to sleep and sleep and sleep. Wake up, Ray. The rest of the world is living their lives while you're snoring away. But, Ray, if you want true sweet tea, you got to put it on the back porch and let it steep in the sun. Like, so you put the big glass container,
right.
Fill it with your water, your ice, throw in all your tea bags, and it's got to sit in the sun. That's how you make sweet tea. So you got to make sure it's out in the sun, actually steeping. You cannot do this inside the house with like fluorescent lighting.
Understood.
It's got to be out in the elements. Okay. So we got to make real sweet tea, and then any kind of crappy tequila you want, and then fresh lime. Which I'm not a tequila guy, so I'm kind of a crappy tequila guy. Maybe I'm not a tequila guy because I drink crappy tequila. I don't know. But it can be any tequila, Ray. But the tea has got to be brewed in a certain manner, in a certain style.
I bet that my gal could do that expertly. I'm just guessing.
Yeah. Another thing.
Scientific brewing process. I'm sure she'd have a whole, beakers out and all kinds of stuff. Be perfect.
I tell you what, man, your lady's like the Amelia Earhart of women. She just is unstoppable and puts men in their place and makes all other women look like peons.
Hopefully she doesn't get lost at sea, like Amelia did. But yeah, thank you, I think.
We may have an Amelia Earhart piece of memorabilia that is coming up in our memorabilia showdown. The memorabilia showdown will continue in a bit. Ray is still holding on to Barry Bonds' home run 73 as the piece he would want. I've got the very beautiful and luxurious O.J. White Ford Bronco. Chat room still hold on to the baseball, but we've got more pieces of memorabilia. This or that, plus some NFL notes. We got an update on Mac Jones, a sad end to a great NFL career that we'll tell you about. It's all coming your way in just a bit. You are in Lunch Money. You are at the Bettor Sports Network. And now you're headed to the den to say hello to Duke. Duke, take it away.
Good afternoon, Bettors. It's your boy Duke, back and better than ever. Maybe a little lighter in the wallet, but still doing good. We got some Champions League action today. Of course, we're back in the Duke's Den. I'm going to try to make you some money. We got some more bets coming up in hour 2 and hour 3. But right here, we got to talk about last night. The record is broken. Roger Maris is no more. Well, he's still in the books, but he's no longer number one. Aaron Judge blasted one over the fence for his 62nd home run of the season, breaking that AL record. A couple things I didn't know and some interesting facts. Number one, not a big baseball fan. I get some updates when ESPN sends me some things or the Score app or whatever, but I'm not watching any games. I do have some buddies who are a Braves fan. We got in the World Series last year, but this one, I was watching. I was doing the tune-ins. I was checking it out because there's nothing cool than records being broken. What I didn't know until I saw it was the third pitch of the game. Yankees moving Judge up to the leadoff spot to give him some more at-bats just so he can break this record. A little shady, but whatever. Can you imagine if you had these seats, beautiful seats, you tailgate just a little bit longer. Your buddy's like, come on, man, one more beer. Hey, let's throw another dog on the grill. And then the third pitch of the game, Aaron Judge hits a dinger, lands in your seat. Can you imagine? Number 2, what a meatball. I mean, the dude threw an absolute meatball up. I mean, I'm not saying that this guy, Trincone or whatever his name is, was doing it on purpose. Catcher was set up low and away. The dude throws like a medium-paced fastball middle up. What do you think Judge is going to do with that? And then how about just the acrobatics involved with catching that ball? Because we know it's going to be worth some cash. Upwards of $2 million, and according to reports, the gentleman who did catch it did turn down a $2 million offer on the spot. But how physical are you being to catch that ball? $2 million? And of course, who catches it? It's got to be a plumber, a lifelong Texas Rangers fan, or somebody who's been there through thick and thin. Let's reward this loyalty. Nope. Corey Humans. That name doesn't sound familiar, and it probably shouldn't. He's an investment banker, a VP and investment banker, turned down a $2 million offer that he received on the spot. He is, let's see here. They manage $197 billion worldwide. He's the vice president of Fisher Investments. Why can't it go to a normal person, not somebody who doesn't need the money and who can play hardball? I actually like it when baseball fans get a cool ball souvenir, they give it back to the team, and the team takes care of them. Now, look, $2 million is different than, like, give me a couple, like a bat and season tickets for life. That's $2 million, baby. My favorite guy of the whole night was the dude who jumped out of the stands. Super sharp move. So many fans get excited, especially everyone going for the same ball. The odds of that thing dropping down was worth a potential broken leg to get down there. Don't jump out of the stands unless it's for a $2 million ball. Bets next hour. Adios.
It's always lunchtime here. Now back to Kyle Elfrink and Ray Flowers.
Did I hear that right, Ray? Thanks to Duke there. The guy who caught the ball, like, manages $200 billion? Is that right?
I saw 197. Yeah, that's the number I saw. So life's hard.
You know, I always see those Fisher investment ads, and that guy says, we only do good if you do good. You know, we don't work on commissions. And well, you did good last night. Share it with the rest of us, man. You know, don't just talk the talk, walk the walk. Man, investment bankers. I run into a lot of these guys, right? Like I'm at that age where I'm meeting new people. You know, you run into your kids' friends and their parents. And Ray, I'm not kidding you. Everybody just shakes my hand and say, "Oh, I'm in investing or I'm in finance."
Mm-hmm.
That's like everybody. Everybody. You know what I get to say?
What?
I'm in radio. And they're like, "Well, do you also ride around in a carriage? Is that, how old fashioned are you, sir? Do you do your radio show with a monocle in one eye?" Right? It's like I'm the laughing stock of the meet and greet amongst parents, and everybody else is in financials.
Well, Kyle, I'll say this: if you rolled up in a white Bronco, you wouldn't be.
That's exactly right. Thank you, Ray Flowers. Yes, indeed. I am still holding on to my piece of memorabilia, the OJ White Ford Bronco. Ray is holding on to his Barry Bonds home run number 73 ball. This all started because we wondered the Aaron Judge ball. Would you trade it for this? Would you trade it for that? Ray immediately traded the Aaron Judge ball for the Barry Bonds ball. So did I. But I traded the Barry Bonds ball for the OJ White Bronco. Now, as we continue this memorabilia showdown, we're going to do this throughout the show today. Up next, Ray, and this is going to make it difficult for you. I knew that it would be very hard to pry this San Francisco Giants ball out of your greasy palms. So I had to throw up something that would entice Ray Flowers, something that may interest him. So, Ray, you can either have your Barry Bonds home run ball 73, or the next piece of memorabilia in our showdown is the football thrown by Joe Montana to Dwight Clark, the famous catch. I would argue, Ray, this is as an outsider. I would argue, Ray, the most famous moment in San Francisco sports history. Right there. Now, what are you doing, Ray? You holding on to that Bonds ball, or are you making the trade?
Yeah, that I remember seeing that live as a kid. And that was, and Troy. We talked about Troy Aikman on Monday and his love affair for the Niners. That was obviously before Troy Aikman, but still, that's kind of the start of the real rivalry between the two organizations. That's a really tough one, boy, Kyle.
I'll tell you this: I still want the Bronco. I don't have the heartstrings attached to this one. I still want the OJ Ford Bronco.
For my dad, I'll take the football. That's tough.
Take the football.
I'll take the football.
See ya, Barry. See ya. In the chat room, getting the games going with the catch too. He's taking the catch, working grind, sticking with the baseball. But Ray's making the switch. He's off to the football. I'm still holding on to OJ's Bronco. Now we've got another one for you.
Okay.
Got another one, Ray.
All right.
Because we are not done with our memorabilia showdown. Up next, probably the most legendary non-human performer in sports history. I don't even think it's close, Ray. Secretariat. The greatest horse of all time. They've been doing it for 200 years. What we're giving you, Ray, is not the bones of Secretariat.
Good.
Or a hoof, or a snout. It's nothing. Ray, we're going to give you the very famous white and blue silks of Secretariat. So you've got the catch football or the silks of the greatest horse of all time, worn by the greatest horse of all time during the Triple Crown run. What was that, 73? I want to say. The Triple Crown run, one of the most dominating performance we have ever seen in the history of horse racing. Ray, what's it going to be? You holding on to that NFL football with Pete Rozell's autograph on it? Or are you going for the blue and white silks?
Yeah, a pretty good movie, Secretariat, for those people who haven't seen it. I've read a couple books on Secretariat as well. And to think about sports records and the fact that, with all the advances in science, I'll just say that Secretariat still holds records now is dumbfounding. Just unbelievable. I am a animal person, as you and the listeners are well aware. I'm still going to keep the catch ball because of my personal connection here. But that's probably closer for me than a lot of people hearing it. They probably would just immediately say, "Oh, give me the football." That's close now.
I'm going to surprise you, Ray.
You're going to take it?
I'm taking the silks.
Wow. Okay.
And what it came down to, I'm trading in the OJ Bronco. What it truly came down to, Ray, is I said, I'm going to take the faster moving machine. And I think Secretariat probably could beat the 30-mile-an-hour Ford Bronco down the LA highway. Like, people don't realize that Ford Bronco, Ray, was puttering along. It was barely moving. Secretariat would beat that Ford Bronco. Plus, Ray, this is the Silks. Like, these were on the horse. There's DNA there. It's the moment. It happened in the flesh. As cool of a talking piece as the OJ Ford Bronco is, and it is, Ray, I think this can actually hold up as a conversation piece. Can actually hold up.
So you're saying that the Silks today are better than the Betty White chair that she may or may not have passed wind in, because these were actually
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
I know that these Silks were used. I've never seen Betty White sit in that chair.
Okay.
Never.
Gotcha.
Man, great comment from Getting the Game in our room. I was talking about the DNA on the Silks of Secretariat. He says, what about the DNA in the Bronco? I don't know if they found any. That was the problem. I don't think.
They probably would have had a better case if they did.
Yeah. All they found was AC Cowlings, OJ, and probably Cato. Yeah, Cato Kalin. But was that his name?
That is his name. Yeah.
Cato Kalin. I
Cato
think
Kalin.
so.
You got it.
Now, one more, and we got a lot of memorabilia to get to, Ray, but I got one more for you. You're still holding on to the catch.
Mm-hmm.
I have made the move to the Silks. It looks like in our room that ball 73 and also the catch, those are kind of holding steady. Not everybody agrees with it. Last but not least, in this part of the memorabilia showdown, and I realize this may not resonate for many, but Ray, it is the yellow Howard Cosell Monday Night Football jacket. Which, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, when Monday Night Football was an institution, they wore really ugly and awful looking banana-colored jackets. They were pretty terrible, pretty geeky. But Ray, Howard Cosell might be the most famous broadcaster, at least TV broadcaster, of all time for sports. This would be a true collector's item. You can hold on to your Dwight Clark football, which has a lot of local interest. Or you can get the true international interest of a Howard Cosell Monday Night Football jacket.
I remember Monday Night Football and Howard Cosell. And as great that was, it's kind of, they're almost like Hall of Fame color, right? It's kind of ugly jacket.
Yeah, they're pretty ugly. They're you would get laughed out of any like bar or shop you walked in if you wore this thing.
Are you 75 years old, Grandpa? That's what you would get.
Yeah.
I'm keeping the football. And I think
now what if I threw in the Howard Cosell toupee?
And his microphone. I would still take the football. But again, I'm taking the football. You know, someone such as yourself who went to school for broadcasting and studied this and been in the industry your entire life. I mean, that's probably a tougher call, right?
I'm sticking with Secretariat.
Okay.
And here's why. Cosell's a bit before my time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember ever so slightly Howard Cosell, but I didn't get those glory years. Like the Ali stuff, the early Monday Night Football stuff. By the time I was really into like Monday Night Football and stuff, it was Al Michaels and Dan Deerdorf. You know, those were the guys doing it. So Cosell doesn't really resonate for me. Those who are older might resonate a bit more. Hence, you remember those moments.
A little bit.
Okay, so you've got the Dwight Clark ball.
Mm-hmm.
I am still holding on to Secretariat's blue and white silks. Looks like our room is either the Bonds home run ball or the catch. So this is our memorabilia showdown, all tied into home run ball number 62. We said immediately all of us traded that. None of us want this thing. But now it's getting a little tougher. Okay, more to come in our memorabilia showdown. So stick with us. We've got a lot of items to get through before 3 o'clock. Ray, we do have to get some news and notes from the world of the NFL. First off, some Mac Jones news. And it's news, Ray, but like really, it shouldn't be. I don't know if anybody's holding out hope for Mac Jones this week or thinks he's going to be back like next week. But Ray, it looks so bad initially that I've kind of written him off for the next month. And maybe the Patriots are finally going to come clean on him.
Maybe. The news is that he was at practice day. He was making some throws. He actually stepped into a couple throws, which is not something that anyone saw from him last week. So he's arguably better than he was last week. Does that mean he has a chance to play? I guess it does. Does that mean I feel good or confident that he's going to play? Certainly not at this point. It's a storyline to keep an eye on after they had to go to their second and then third string quarterbacks last week in New England.
Well, and I guess we can assume, Ray, and I'm going to assume Jones, it's Zappy starting. I mean, I haven't heard that officially, but I'm guessing Hoyer isn't really in play this weekend. Is that kind of what you're vibing
That's,
on?
again, and I think with the Tua thing and all that, I've said this previously, if a guy gets a concussion, your assumption should just be he's out the next week. Because the league can't afford, at this point in time, the PR hit, if that happened again, now you're on The View and they're talking about it, right? Like you can't. So I haven't seen any definitive news on Hoyer either, but I would be trending toward him being inactive this week.
Okay, elsewhere, Keenan Allen, day-to-day, dealing with a hamstring injury. They play on Sunday, the Chargers do, taking on Cleveland. So we'll see on Keenan Allen. Looks like Pittsburgh has made it official, just as pretty well everybody expected. Kenny Pickett's going to be the QB. Zach Wilson, Ray, of the Jets, he showed up a little on the injury report today.
He did. He's got an ankle issue, and I guess this is, something happened last week. No one at this point in time seems to be thinking it's significant, but he was limited at practice today, something to keep in mind with him. As predicted, the offense did take a step backward with him under center versus Joe Flacco. They know, obviously, if they need to make a change here, which, again, we're not expecting at the moment, but if they need to make that change, they know that Joe Flacco can at least keep them in games with the way he has looked thus far.
Commanders are hosting the Titans this weekend. Sounds like Brian Robinson, Ray, has a real shot to be dressed and playing, or at least to be available for this game. This is big because the Titans, I was looking at numbers today, Ray, and I think they are giving up like 5.1 yards a carry. It's a pretty ugly number in terms of their rush defense. To me, it's I shouldn't say wait. To me, it's too chancy to plug Robinson into your lineup.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a wait and see. Remember, folks, this is still his NFL debut. This is not a guy who's played for 2 years. We've seen good things. He was injured. Now he's back. It's his NFL debut. So that even goes beyond the fact that he's coming off the IR. He missed the time with the unfortunate gunshot wound, all that. The bigger question for me, Ray, is Gibson. Because if there were no Robinson, I'm rolling Gibson. He'd be my guy. Now, with Robinson, I probably lean towards still playing Gibson, which for a lot of people, they're going to say, hell no, I'm not doing that again. It wasn't. But, man, this matchup really speaks to me. For if one of these running backs, like if you could say, hey, Kyle, Gibson's going to touch the ball 15 times, I'm in. Like, I'm all in on Antonio Gibson. For the most part, I'm playing him. How about you with the Commanders' running back situation this weekend?
By the way, Curtis Samuel is missing practice day with an illness. They're saying it's not COVID related. Just something to keep an eye on with the other commander there.
Hope it's not monkeypox related either.
Yeah, well, they didn't say that, so I guess that's an option. This is a tough one because we Gibson. We talked about this. Was it yesterday or Monday? We talked about the fact that Gibson had an opportunity and he didn't really step forward. Right. He didn't assert himself, and his role in the passing game after week one has really declined. Last week, we saw J.D. McKissic get more involved as a ball carrier than we're used to seeing. Now we're talking about the potential return of Robinson. And then the matchup too that you mentioned. I think that, given it all, Gibson's a flex play. I think that's just where we have to be right now. I'd still play him over McKissic. But if Robinson is active, I think I'd still have Gibson as a flex option. It's just like you said, it's his first NFL game coming back off an injury. There was a lot of hype with him, but there's absolutely no reason to think he's going to come out and play 50 snaps this first game. But it would muddle the situation further.
And again, that game coming your way on Sunday. Of course, tomorrow we've got week 5 starting with Indianapolis visiting Denver. Haven't seen anything yet today on Jonathan Taylor. I would almost guess he's limited and day-to-day. That's what I'm guessing we're going to hear from the Colts. Ray, we did get a bit of news, and I don't know if it's news. Let's just say we got a statement from Denver yesterday. Their OC, who I think is pretty new at the job, probably new at giving interviews too, Ray, because you're not supposed to say this stuff. But he indicated, Ray, that Melvin Gordon's the guy. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, I would assume Melvin Gordon's going to get the work. So is this a Melvin Gordon start him, use him, get him in that lineup, and make sure that you have him for week 5?
Yes. And we talked about this yesterday too. We went through the whole thing with Lat Murray, how he got off the practice squad and was signed by the Broncos and all of that. He's got 3 days to get up to speed. It's just not, he may not be active this week, Lat Murray. So it's going to be, Gordon with Boone as that backup piece. It'll probably be the 65-35 split kind of scenario. I don't buy the idea that Melvin Gordon's going to get 24 touches this week, which is kind of what the report makes it seem like. I don't buy that. But I think at this point in time, given where we're at here on a Wednesday, Melvin Gordon's a low end 2, running back 2 this week, because he has to be the guy that you look at to say he's getting the goal line work. He's going to be the pass receiving back, fumbles and all. He's the guy this week for the Broncos.
Obviously Gordon's owned everywhere, but I was looking at bids on all these other running backs in my leagues, Ray. I'm in probably the best expert league I'm in is a 12-teamer. And Ray, I'm looking at the bids from yesterday. Naheem Hines was added in this league. This is a 12-team league. Hines was available. $24 was the pay up on Hines, and it's $100 fab budget. So $24. Rashad White went for 17. Mike Boone for 15. Tyler Algier for 15. So no huge prices there. But everybody kind of, in that 15 to 20% range of their fab budget.
Yeah, most of my leagues don't run fab until tonight. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah, most of them. I did see that in the league we did with the folks from Sirius, someone I think spent 51% on Lat Murray. Yikes. I think my bid was 11% in that setup. But yeah, I don't have as much information to draw on. Again, most of my leagues run them tomorrow, but it'll be interesting. I mean, the Atlanta situation in particular, we talked about that too, that I'm still add me Damian Williams for $1. I'll take that chance. Hopefully he's back out there next week. The Algier Huntley thing, people are going in on. It's good to hear though, that they're not going all in because, with what we have seen here the last couple of days, there's no reason for any of these guys to be someone that anyone broke the bank with in the fab market.
I'm looking at my home league, Ray. Tyler Algier for $51.
Out of 100?
Out of 100.
Yeah, that's...
I in that same league, I went Huntley for $11.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. So, and I had lost Javonte Williams in that league, so I dumped Williams. Okay. Got Huntley for $11. Our dude Jeff Mans, Ray, he dumped Isaiah Pacheco to get Mike Boone.
Really?
How about that? Power move by Jeff Mans, huh?
That is a power move, and it's really fascinating because the questions are coming in Discord at fantasyguru.com or any source, right? And people are – it's a rough time of the year because buys start in week 6. We've got the injuries now, and you're balancing something you talked about earlier when you lost Dak Prescott. You're balancing this week and maybe next week versus this season. And I know, and Jeff, we all know this, Jeff has been team Pacheco all along and said Pacheco, in weeks, I think he said 11, 12, something like that. He's the guy that he anticipates taking over the backfield there. So why would he drop him? Well, it's 5-6 weeks from now. Like, even if that happens.
You need W's right now.
Yeah. And, there are a lot of people that do the, this week it's Boone or Lat Murray, and it's that continual every week, whoever's there, it's Algier, it's next week it'll be Damian Williams. Like, it's always something. And so there's a chance that Pacheco still's out there after this week. Like, if it's a 1-week pickup for Jeff to see how it goes. I don't know. I haven't talked to Jeff at all. If it's a 1-week pickup to see how it goes, or maybe Jeff's idea is that no one will really pick up Pacheco because, he's the third guy maybe in the backfield right now. But that's an interesting move because I know he's team Pacheco.
Yeah. Let's see a couple of other things. Arizona has finally let go of Andy Isabella. So everybody who constantly was talking about Isabella for the last 2 years, you can move on. It's kind of over.
Finally.
Cole Beasley has retired. Is that right? We got a retirement from Cole Beasley.
Cole Beasley showed up, played 15 snaps, and retired. Really, I don't. Very weird.
This ain't working, man. I'm done. I'm out of here.
Well, he's not. He's got his own thing going, right? But yeah, he played 4 snaps last week as they started to get healthy with the Bucks. Maybe the Bucks were going to let him go, and he just decided to retire. But undersized slot receiver who's played 11 years. He could see the writing on the wall. But it is interesting that he walked away in the middle of the year.
Well, and one other retirement, Blake Bortles made it official, Ray.
Yeah.
Blake Bortles, former UCF Knight, was going to turn around that Jaguars franchise. He did have a good year when they were stellar, but the career has ended. He's called it quits. You will not have Blake Bortles to kick around anymore. He's done.
In 2015, he did a very good impersonation or leading move, because Jameis Winston did it years later, of being Jameis Winston. You know, he led the league in interceptions, had 4,400 yards and 35 touchdowns. He last threw a pass in 2019. He threw 2 passes that year. So he's thrown 2 passes in 2019, 20, 21, 22. It took him 4 years to realize that 2 passes. I assumed, I saw the news and I was like, he hasn't already retired? Like, not to put the guy down.
I guess when he saw that even Joe Flacco and Andy Dalton are more needed than he said, okay, I better just bag it. Give this up. I was on the morning show today, and one of the guys noted that Blake Bortles said years ago, if he wasn't an NFL quarterback, like, what would he be doing? Mm-hmm. And he said he would be in construction. Huh. So now, Ray, look out. Blake Bortles is coming to a housing development near you. So there you go. Now we're doing the memorabilia thing. How much, Ray, would you be willing to pay over ask if you knew the house had been put up by Blake Bortles?
Not much.
You probably want to undercut the price.
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, right. Career earnings. Let's look up his career earnings. I wouldn't care. Though there are a lot of guys. What's the guy from New Kids on the Block does houses now on HGTV? He does. I don't know which one of those.
Joey McIntyre. I don't know.
I don't know which one of the brothers, or one of them's on HGTV.
Christopher Knight. Who?
Yeah, I don't know who it is. We have to look it up.
Why in the world do I know any names from the New Kids on the Block?
HGTV.
This is embarrassing. Oh God, I need to erase the last 10 seconds of my life. Good.
Jonathan
grief.
Knight. Yeah. Jonathan Knight.
I said Christopher Knight. Okay.
Yeah. Blake Bortles made $48 million.
Now you can start a construction business with $48 million seed money. Yeah.
He made, and I don't know how this works, but this is really wild. Here are his salaries the last couple of years. 2020, $280,000. 2021, $130,000. So I don't know, like, I guess practice squad and all that kind of thing, but it was pretty front loaded here. But he actually made. Let me count that again. He made $150,000 last year, and he hasn't done a pass since 2019. So interesting.
Well, I got to renegotiate. I didn't throw a pass either last year, and I didn't come close to that.
Yeah, right.
I didn't clear that much money on my end. Okay, news and notes. You are set. When we return on Lunch Money, I've got my eagerly anticipated top 10 for Week 5. Nobody else is going to have these names except me. Top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. Also, since we're 4 weeks in, it's probably time to take a look at our top performers. Who's actually been the best of the best through 4 weeks? That and our sports memorabilia showdown continues. More items to say. Would you rather have this piece or that piece? Got more of that coming your way up next on Lunch Money on the Bettor Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I think it's hard to judge Daniel Jones. He's got no offensive line and he's got no weapons. So, he still made a couple of bad decisions this year, but it's really hard to judge him. And that's the difficult part for the Giants. They have to figure out if he's the guy. How can you make that assessment when he's throwing a Kenny Golladay who can't catch anything?
Jones in a shotgun set. Back to throw. Has time. Fastball to the right side. Golladay makes the catch, but then he fell down and he never controlled it. It's incomplete. He tried to run away from the defender and he dropped it.
Richie James, look at this. It is bad. They really need Wan'Dale Robinson and Kadarius Toney out there. And even then, it's still not enough. And I believe Daniel Jones is the most pressured quarterback in football, and it's going to be hard for him to have success.
Corey Nando and Friends, presented by Mayo Media.
What can we say about 5 more passes batted at the line by Baker Mayfield? That's 12 for the season. I've never seen anything like this. Last year's leader had 17 for the entire season. Mayfield's on pace for 51, and the Panthers barely throw.
Thank you. They barely throw. They don't make no explosive plays. They can't do nothing offensively. But when you look at this team, they ran 51 plays yesterday. They had 220 total yards. They ran the ball for 40 yards. They threw the ball for 180. On the throws, it was under 5 yards a pass. they are using their short passing game as a running game, but it ain't going nowhere. There's no explosive plays from anybody. Baker Mayfield's a dog, and that was just a terrible display of football. There was a reason to boo. There's a reason to be calling for Rule's job. There's a reason to want everybody out in Carolina because that thing is pitiful.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
We are hearing reports, Ray, that people felt this was so unfair and so dastardly that people are like changing rules and allowing folks to remove Kamara from their starting lineup. You cannot break this rule. This is lousy, Ray, and I hate the precedent that some people are setting with this.
Later on, the commissioner said, oh, yeah, sorry, you didn't get up at 6 a.m. today. We'll allow you to make a switch. Sorry. If you're mad at something here, you don't get mad at your league, you don't get mad at the rules, you don't get mad at your commissioner, you get mad at the bloody NFL, who I have said all along, what are we doing here? Why are we trying to take over the world?
It's just bad luck, Ray. This happens a lot, doesn't it? It just doesn't happen with the likes of Alvin Kamara. You got to be awake when the actives and inactives come out.
But again, it's if you want to lay blame, it's the NFL. Why is the NFL playing games that the majority of the people in the United States aren't even awake for? What are they doing? Isn't it our league? North America's league, or is it Europe's league? So if you're mad at someone, you're mad at the NFL.
It's always lunchtime here. Now back to Kyle Elfrink and Ray Flowers.
Moving along on this edition of Lunch Money, Kyle and Ray with you on a Wednesday, having fun with sports memorabilia. We're kind of making up things to auction, if you will. Last night, of course, we saw Aaron Judge's 60-second home run ball sell over the left field wall. Ray and I said immediately sell that sucker. The guy who has it is not. Now, Ray, he does have credentials. Again, he is an investment banker or whatever the heck it is. So maybe he knows more than us, but. And he probably doesn't need the $2 million either. That's another part of this, Ray. It's easy to turn down $2 million when you already have 12 million sitting in the bank account. For most of us, you take the money and run.
Yeah, I mean, and again, timing the market, trying to, everyone's got different goals, right? Some people it's fun money, some people need it to live, whatever. I just know that, and we've talked about this a lot. If a team says, here's $180 million, I'm going to sign it. Maybe it's $30 million under value. I don't care. But someone says, I'm going to give you $2 million because you were sitting in a seat where a ball fell in your hands. I'm probably going to take the money. So yeah, that's how I would play it, Kyle. I don't know about other people.
Yeah, we're not putting up a good front, you and me, right now for future negotiations. We're coming off really desperate for money. We'll take anything that's offered.
$10. The price of the baseball.
I think that's what the bosses are hearing right now. We're just desperate. Well, what we're doing is we're trading in things. Ray and I both traded in the Aaron Judge ball immediately. We both said, yeah, I'll take that Barry Bonds number 73. Now, I then traded the Bonds ball for OJ's white Ford Bronco. Very happy with that deal. Ray did not. Ray eventually traded in the ball for the football that Joe Montana threw to Dwight Clark for the catch. And Ray, you still have that as your piece of memorabilia, right?
At the moment, yep.
I currently have Secretariat's blue and white silks. Very happy to have that. I know in the chat room, most people are still leaning, I think, with the Bonds ball, although a couple of people did switch to the Dwight Clark catch ball. Here's what's next in our memorabilia showdown, Ray. The boxing gloves that Buster Douglas used to knock Mike Tyson out. Now, this is when Mike Tyson, he may have been high as a kite, but Mike Tyson was still like unstoppable then. And speaking of people complaining about being asleep, Ray, nobody actually saw this happen because the fight was in like Asia. Mike Tyson against Buster Douglas. I remember it was like overnight on a Saturday evening. And I remember waking up on Sunday morning and it was literally top of Sports Center front page news that someone had beaten Mike Tyson and like nobody saw it. And it was some tomato can named Buster Douglas. This is the last real moment, Ray, that I say, like, I remember as like boxing was huge. Mm-hmm. Like it was everywhere. It was when Mike Tyson fell to Buster Douglas. So Ray, you want that football for the catch, or do you want those boxing mitts for Buster Douglas when he knocked out Mike Tyson?
We have a Neiman family photo, the guy that used to paint. If people seen Rocky 3, that style with all the different colors and everything. We have a Neiman that's a Muhammad Ali Foreman. It's huge. It's like I don't even know, 48 by 64, whatever the hell that size
Is it an original?
Yeah. So
oh, Ray.
Yeah, I know.
Why don't we ever get to see that on the Friday trip?
It's at my parents' house. It's not here. Yeah, it's a huge.
Go and get it. Bring it in.
It's huge. It's a really nice piece. But that's like the only. I have no experience with boxing. My only real experience with boxing, other than that picture, is playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out. so I'm just not. The sweet science is not my thing. I'm going to keep the ball with Clark. But for those people that were, if you're a boxing fan, that would be a hell of a thing to have.
Well, and here I am holding on to horse racing silks. And now we have boxing. So you've got like boxing and horse racing. I think I'm going to stay with the silks, Ray.
Okay.
And the reason is because Buster Douglas literally did nothing after that. Like he lost the next fight. All he did was go to McDonald's and eat the rest of his life. I think he passed away maybe a decade ago. You say Buster Douglas, Ray, and it's like, oh yeah, that 15 minutes of fame.
Right.
And then he forever disappeared. So I'm sticking with the Secretariat thing, which is still a legendary artifact.
Understood.
I see people tempted by these boxing mitts, but nobody's making the move in the chat room. They're not making the move to the boxing mitt. Now, next up, Ray, we have, and I was reminded of this or came up with this idea after the Zuckerberg thing yesterday when we were talking about the autographed Little League card. The first ever first place trophy or plaque won by by Tiger Woods. So Tiger age 5, Tiger age 6, probably some community city league out in California. You get this trophy or plaque, Ray. The first ever trophy that perhaps the greatest golfer ever won. I'm trading in the silks.
Really?
The silks are gone, Ray. I'm trading the silks of the greatest horse ever for the trophy / plaque. I don't even care what it could be, a medal. The first one that Tiger Woods ever won. I'm making that trade.
A kid I knew growing up, he was I had like two best friends and my brother. One of my best friend's friends, so secondary friend, but a guy we hung out with all the time. His name is Aaron Oberholzer. You might have seen him as a golfer. He was on the PGA Tour. He's on Golf Network or Golf Channel now, doing some analysis. I bring that up because I'm pretty sure that in college, Stanford, and then my buddy Aaron was at San Jose State. I think Aaron had a better scoring average that final year in college than Tiger did.
Yeah, well, I don't want his trophy. Right?
Well, he won Pebble Beach one time. You should like that. I'm keeping the ball. I don't like Tiger Woods. I don't like his act. I'm not a fan of him. Any of that. Who he is as a person on the links, what he has done for golf, historic. And it's probably a bad choice by me to keep the football if we're looking monetarily or anything like that. But I'm just not a fan of that guy at all. I'm keeping the ball.
Yeah. Okay. Looks like everybody else is probably. I'm making the switch. I want that trophy. We've got more sports memorabilia coming your way. We will continue that leading up to 3 o'clock. As we keep rolling here on Lunch Money, big news. Big breaking news right now. I kind of wondered, Ray, 10 minutes ago, would we get anything definitive from the Indianapolis Colts? We now have something definitive, don't we?
Yeah, Stephen Holder, who's been around for years, is reporting that the ankle issue of Jonathan Taylor is going to cause him to miss game action this week. He is reporting that Jonathan Taylor has been ruled out. He will not play this week for the Colts, a massive loss for the Colts team, and obviously a killer in the fantasy game.
Ray, I am looking at multiple leagues right now that I'm in, even one that's a 16-teamer, and Deion Jackson's available. What do I do? He's a free ad because waivers have already run.
What about Lindsey? Philip Lindsey. Was he added?
I mean, I got to think he wasn't added. Let's see. Lindsey available in that league. Let me see. You telling me I should go Lindsey over Jackson?
I mean, I don't have a. I probably would. Yes.
He's
but I don't have
available in both leagues. I can go Lindsey or Jackson. Both are available in both leagues.
Yeah, I don't have a good feeling on this. I
don't like the matchup this week either.
Yeah.
Like I don't look at this, Ray, and this is not the Colts backup facing the Texans defense.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's a whole lot of running lanes to be had against Denver this week.
No, Deion Jackson's on the active roster. Philip Lindsay's on the practice squad, so he'd have to be elevated. So that's a jump there, right? But we heard some talk about Lindsay from the team earlier this week. I mean, let's just say it. The play is Naheem Hines. Okay. It's different and all that, but the play is Naheem Hines, obviously. In terms of a guy that might get some goal line work or some early down work, boy, I'm going to say Philip Lindsay. And I don't feel good about that. It would take him to get elevated, to say it again, from the practice squad. So that is something to think about. But I would go Lindsay, though. Would I play Lindsay? No. Would I play Deion Jackson? No. I'd only be playing Hines in this scenario.
The difficulty I have, and I think a lot of people need to understand this before they just make a move, Ray. We're all very likely to be dealing with limited benches. Yeah. Like there aren't many football leagues where you have 8-9 spots on your bench, okay? Right. I think most of us are dealing with like 5
or 6 tops, yeah.
So he may be free, Deion Jackson or Philip Lindsay. Like I can add this guy for nothing, but you do have to drop a guy.
Right.
And Ray, I consider the situation we have with these two, where really, let's say we've got a 3-headed backfield now of Hines, Lindsay, and Jackson. I don't know if any of them are a great bet. I also don't know, is this any kind of multi-week injury for Jonathan Taylor? The way I look at this, at least with my teams, because hey, who couldn't use a running back? Everybody could use a running back. Ray, I'm looking at my teams. I guess I would be dropping. Like I've got Haskins, who backs up Derrick Henry, Hassan Haskins. Got him in one league. Gainwell might be my drop in another league. I just picked up Huntley with the Falcons in another league. Am I gaining anything by making a move to Lindsay or Jackson? To me, Ray, that's too uncertain. Again, I don't know how long Taylor. Now, if I found out Taylor's out for 6 weeks, and they're not saying that, let me be clear. But if we find out it's a multi-week injury, okay, maybe I'll take that shot a little more. But if it's just a one and done, I don't think I'm served, at least my situation. Everybody's got different situations. In my situation, Ray, I'm probably not making the move to one of those guys, Jackson or Lindsay.
Yeah, and remember too, oh my gosh, it's early week, rule out for Taylor. It is, but they play Thursday, so it's really not. Because then I think that's probably your initial reaction. Oh my gosh, it's Wednesday. That means next week's in doubt. Maybe next week is in doubt, but again, they play tomorrow. And again, this is why the game is so difficult to play, fantasy football, because what you're basically saying is the conundrum that all the listeners have and everyone the rest of the day is going to have. If they haven't run fab, if they have run fab, they're all going to be, do I go to the waiver wire and do this? All we're doing is trying to prognosticate out failure or injury of other players versus targeting guys that we truly believe in. Yeah. So it's difficult because is it wrong for you to flip, Gainwell for Hines? Is it wrong for you to flip him for Jackson or Lindsay? Not really. I mean, you're not playing Gainwell this week, right? No, so if you're playing the this week game, well, you make a move. If you're playing the long-term game, and as you said, we haven't heard anything about Taylor multi-week absence yet. If Taylor's back next week, Jackson and Lindsay are useless.
Yeah.
They're useless. So do you make the move for the short term versus the long term? And remember, bye weeks start next week too. So it's really tough, but yeah, with the weight, and this is why I'm always shocked by all the trade offers people talk about, all the moves people make on the waiver. I don't understand with a 5 or 6 person bench how people are able to be so active. It doesn't make any sense to me, and I know you feel the same way.
Well, and I can only reason it with what I have. Like I'm taking you through my thought process in leagues where these guys are available, and I think I'm presenting this because maybe you can think of it this way too. You talked about the fact that Gainwell isn't starting. You're totally right. If I picked up either of these guys, Ray, I wouldn't start them in those leagues.
Right.
So it's like I'm still just picking up bench guys. The other part of this, what do I know about Deion Jackson? I'll be honest with you, nothing. Okay? I'll just be honest. I don't even know if I've ever seen a Deion Jackson run. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I don't know. let's just say he didn't make an impression if I saw it. I have seen Philip Lindsay. Okay, I know what Philip Lindsay can do, but like to your point, he's on the practice squad. He's been bouncing around of late. I can't imagine that Lindsay would become the guy why Nyheim Hines is not the guy. I think you'd have to use both of them, to really make it through things. And again, we don't know how long this absence is. This whole game with the running backs, Ray, I would compare it to if you're a single guy. You're a single dude and you're looking for a new girlfriend. You're looking for a new running back, but in this case, a new girlfriend. Ray, a bar says, you know what? We're going to sit you at the front table. Going to sit you right there. And we've got 20 women outside. 20 women, and as they walk through, if you're interested in one of them, you can sit, you can talk, you can see if there's a match, all that stuff. You're a guy looking for a date. You got 20 women. Some are beautiful, some are not so beautiful, whatever. Some have drug problems, some have money problems, some of them are, BS crazy, all these things. We don't know. And Ray, that's kind of how I feel it is with running backs. Like there's a constant conveyor belt of guys coming through, and you're like, well, should I take this one or will the next one be better? Should I take this one or is there a problem somewhere in the background with this guy? And we never know, is the next person coming through that bar door, is that the one we should really wait on? Or do we take the one that's good enough for now? And like, okay, let's make the move now. And Ray, it is this conveyor belt. Like even this week, Ray, we've gone through, we wake up on Monday morning and we're talking about Mike Boone and we're talking about Algier and Huntley. Well, now here we are talking about two dudes on Wednesday we weren't even thinking about on Monday. Like we weren't thinking about Philip Lindsay. Nobody was. And it's just like tomorrow, maybe there's a fifth individual. So like that kind of puts it in perspective of the game you deal with at running back, where everybody's looking for that next hot thing that's going to be life ever after. But man, it's hard to find, and it's hard to ever pull that trigger.
Well, it is, and I will simplify this entire process. Handcuff your running backs. Done. Because what you're talking about is what, if I went in Discord or at fantasyguru.com right now, there would be 150 people asking this question. I'm not exaggerating. It'd be 100. Everyone would be asking this question. Why? How many of those people own Jonathan Taylor? 10%? It's everyone trying to get that hit. I understand trying to get the hit. We're talking about playing week to week versus the rest of the season. I get it. But you don't win doing this. This is not a winning formula. You don't have a roster spot that every single week you turn over based upon the new flavor of the day or the week. And that's what too many people do. And they miss things, like you mentioned earlier, you had Algier as an example in the season and you had to drop him because you had an injury. Well, why did you drop him? Because you didn't have Patterson, right? So you made the decision, right move for you to make at the time. But then you ended up putting Algier on the waiver wire. Now that you need him or someone needs him, what do you say? People were spending 15, 20% of the budget, right? Versus holding him if you had Patterson. If you had Cordell Patterson and you didn't draft a backup running back, Williams or Algier, you're dumb. Cordell Patterson's not going to play 16 games and take it. It's not going to happen. Come on. We saw it last year in the second half. So the way to avoid this pulling your hair out and giving yourself an ulcer trying to figure this out every week is handcuffing your own players. Because whether it's Deion Jackson or Lindsey this week, if Taylor's back next week, it don't matter. Jackson and Lindsey are then tossed off your roster immediately. So what good do they do? Are you really chasing those 12 points this week so badly that you'd rather have the 12 points this week than the backup to your starter, who if your starter goes down for a month, guess what? You've got a weekly play for a month.
And the other thing with this Colts team, with Jonathan Taylor out there, Ray, this offensive line has been junk. Now, I'm hoping we get to numbers a bit later. One of the numbers deals with this Colts offensive line. It's awful. It's bad pass blocking. It's bad in the rushing game. For instance, Jonathan Taylor in his first 2 years was like 5.2, 5.3 yards a carry in the first 2 years. He's at 4. He's barely at 4 yards a carry this year. So you plug these guys in, it's not like they're hitting a well-oiled machine who is clearing out, cavernous holes that these guys, they're struggling. And Ray, that's why Hines probably fits the best, because he's probably more receiver than runner. So you get that aspect of Hines. These other guys, maybe they're more runner, but if the lanes aren't there, you can't look at Deion Jackson and say, oh yeah, just give him 12 carries. That guy will get you 80 yards. I mean, even Jonathan Taylor isn't doing that this season with this Colts offensive line.
Correct. And it The offensive line has been problems. They've had problems passing the ball. They've had problems establishing all of that, right? The offense has been bad. The team has been bad. The team has not played good football. Shaq Leonard, they're a great defensive player. He's out this week too. So they're in essence missing their two best players. That's not good for a team that's struggling. It's messy. And they haven't been able to establish Taylor. They haven't been able to establish the passing attack. We both laughed early in the week that somehow Matt Ryan went for 350 and 2 this last week. When I was like, he didn't play a good game. So it's not, you're right. It's not a scenario where this is just, it's rolling and it's 4.8 yards a touch and everything is good and they're racking up 28 first downs again. It's not happening. So yeah, it's not a scenario where people should be getting, again, overly excited about anyone. Hines, again, fine to play him. But these other guys, no reason to be excited.
Yeah, it's again, in the general, and I know everybody, we're talking to thousands of people. Everybody's got different, but in the general, for me, I'm not interested really in Jackson or Lindsey for the most part. And that's with my teams and with my situations. Your mileage may vary, as they say, depending on what your situation is. But for me, the news is big. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is out. That is official. Ray, it is an ankle. So maybe this is a high ankle variety, but we haven't heard anything of that sort. They've been really cagey with information. Maybe now that he's been ruled out, we get a little bit more of what he's exactly dealing with. But we'll just have to wait and see with Taylor. But for anybody out there who has Jonathan Taylor, it's been a bit of a slow season to start, and it gets ever so slower here in week 5. Again, that appears official. It's being reported out of Indianapolis that Jonathan Taylor will not be playing on Thursday Night Football. Of course, the Broncos don't have their guy, Javonte Williams. We do like Melvin Gordon plenty. So we'll see. We'll see on this situation moving forward. But there we are. Jonathan Taylor is out. That is why you have something like Lunch Money. We're live. We're always live, and we're always talking about the things that need to be discussed. Let us take a breather here. Got a lot of things happening here on a Wednesday. We've got more memorabilia showdown to come your way. And I do want to get to my top 10 list. Now, Jonathan Taylor was never on it.
Ooh.
Deion Jackson is not going on it. But I'll tell you this, Ray. There is a running back from that game tomorrow night that is on my top 10 list this week. We'll tell you who that is next, right here on Lunch Money on the Bettor Sports Network.
Good afternoon, bettors. It's your boy Duke, back and better than ever. Presented to you, as always, by FantasyGuru.com. Welcome back to Duke's Den. Thank you, as always, for tuning in to Lunch Money. We recapped Aaron Judge's big 60-second home run in Hour 1. This hour, let's get some bets on the table. And specifically, we're going the soccer route. Third hour, we're going to talk some college football, all right? So take it easy. And yeah, I'm a little lighter in the pocket. We had a losing day yesterday, 1-2. These things happen. By the way, one of our bets, Tottenham to win, should have won. They scored 0 goals, had an expected goal total of 2.2. Got absolutely shut out. So these things happen. That's the life of a soccer bettor. Don't let it put a bad taste in your mouth. Just trust in your boy Duke. I don't lose 2 days in a row. Let's start in London. Lovely London town. Chelsea take on AC Milan. I like both teams to score in this game. That's minus 122 in most books. Again, go to your book, click on soccer, go to Champions League, click on Chelsea, AC Milan, and you'll find both teams to score sitting right there. Just click on that and hit it. Chelsea conceding goals left and right. I know AC Milan have some injuries. They still have Tonali. They still have Giroud. They still have Rafael Leao, which you don't need to know who that is. Just understand he's the most dangerous player in space in the world, not named Kylian Mbappe. Speaking of Kylian Mbappe, PSG take on Benfica in Portugal today, which I know can be a daunting task, and that's exactly why PSG is only minus 120 to win here. PSG's form has been absolutely immaculate under the new manager. Lord knows that home field advantage is something, but Benfica has won their first 2 games in group play because they're not playing PSG. They're having more advantage. They're taking more shots. That won't happen here. PSG should dominate the game start to finish in terms of possession and chances. Maybe Benfica pops in the odd goal, but I like PSG to win 2-1. PSG minus 120 is the bet. Last but not least, let's talk about the big man, Erling Haaland. If you don't know who that is, he's the Michael Jordan, he's the Bo Jackson, he's the Michael Phelps of the soccer world, the most dominant athlete on the planet right now. 3 hat tricks in his last 3 games, cannot be stopped. He is Norwegian of descent. They're playing FC Copenhagen from Denmark. Bit of a rivalry there. Not like we're going to go to war, but like, hey, a friendly little sporting rivalry there. So a little extra motivation for Mr. Holland, as if he needed it. But Man City are minus 2,500 to win this game. They're minus 3.35 goals for the game line. How do we attack this? We go to the first half. We did this Tuesday in the Bet Pack over on Fantasy Guru with Bayern Munich. Man City minus 1.25 is minus 125. Weird. Minus 1.25 is minus 125. It's a bit like betting the first 5 innings of a baseball game. I know what I'm getting from the starter. Not sure about the bullpen. It's the same thing here. Maybe they sub in some guys in the second half, but I love what I see in the first half. Man City minus 1.25. There's 3 bets for you. Here's Kyle and Ray. It's football next hour.
It's always lunchtime here. Now back to Kyle Elfrink and Ray Flowers.
I second what Duke is saying about that PSG straight up win. I said it. Duke said it. You should bet it coming up in Champions League play. We welcome you back to Lunch Money. Kyle and Ray with you on a Wednesday. Breaking news that Jonathan Taylor has been ruled out for tomorrow night's Thursday matchup with the Denver Broncos, to which Ray will remind us Thursday night football, man. Just can't trust it. Just can't trust it. It ruins our league. Right?
It does. I mean,
what do you hate more, Ray? London games or Thursday night football?
Thursday night football. Because, I mean, hypothetically, we don't know, right? Taylor could end up missing 3 weeks. We don't know. What if he would have been good to play on Sunday? What if what if we hear, he was this close? We just, and he would have been able to play on Sunday. The league doesn't care about competitive balance. They don't. And I'm shocked by it. They can again, I'm not surprised. I shouldn't be shocked by it. All they care about is cash. That's all they care about. Yeah. It's not good for the players. It's not good for the teams. It's not good for competitive balance.
Well, I'm going to say something. I want everybody to hear me loud and clear. I don't know Jonathan Taylor anywhere. I didn't have the number 1 or number 2 pick anywhere this year. So I'm going to say this as a non-JT owner, Ray. Mm-hmm. I'd rather have Thursday night football than Jonathan Taylor playing this week. I'd rather have something to watch Thursday night. Like, baseball's over. No playoffs tomorrow. They don't start till Friday.
Right.
There's literally nothing on, Ray.
Right.
Now, say what you will about my life, and I know it looks pathetic and sorry and sad, but I'm happy there's football Thursday night.
Don't you have any muffins? Egg McMuffins laying around, or waffles, or what was it earlier?
Now I can butter all the muffins I want, Ray, because I'm not going to miss a Jonathan Taylor carry.
There you go.
Now I may miss a Deion Jackson tear off of 75 yards. But I'm confident, Ray, if the urge strikes me and I need a beer or I need a bag of Cheetos, I can get up and leave, and I'm not going to get burned by missing out on Jonathan Taylor scamper. I'm not going to do that.
Cheetos or Doritos?
I truly love both. Cool Ranch Doritos. Oh. I grew up on Cheetos. I was a big Chester Cheetah guy.
Oh, nice.
But Ray, as I have aged into adulthood, I've moved away from the fun that is the Cheeto, and I've gone to the, more cosmopolitan Cool Ranch Dorito chip. So I'm probably a Cool Ranch guy. How about you?
I would go Doritos. I don't like Cool Ranch. The traditional, original, regular, whatever it is really good. But my favorite's actually Sweet Chili, the purple bag. Oh, it's just delicious. It's fantastic.
Yeah. The one that sucks, and I think we can all agree on this one, Taco.
Yeah.
Which I think is the original Dorito.
Is it? Right? I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
I think it is. Don't quote me on that.
Right.
I know a lot of things, and I'm perfect at a lot of things. My Dorito trivia is a little shaky.
Okay.
A little shaky, but I think taco is the first flavor. We got a question in the chat room. Big Watts, he's lost Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
He gets 2 of these 4 in a PPR setup. Naheem Hines, Brandon Ayuk, Michael Gallup, or Tyler Boyd.
Ugh.
Ayuk I like. Ayuk's my quick call. Ayuk's going to be my quick call.
Okay.
My second call, Ray, is going to be Naheem Hines. As long as we got a PPR setup, I'm going with Hines.
Yeah, Ayuk is interesting because, he's getting 8 targets a week, but he's catching 4 of them for 38 yards. Like, it's, the Niners are still searching for it. They played a great game on Monday. They won a football game. They don't care. But they're searching to find consistency with Ayuk and Kittle, right? Right now, it's a lot of Deebo Samuel and Jeff Wilson. I don't have a problem with your call there with Ayuk and Hines, but You do what you got to do here. We lost Jonathan Taylor, but Ayuk is just not. He's not a ceiling play. Like he's just not. And there's just. I really struggle because the Niners offense is so buttoned down, but I would go with those two guys as well.
Okay, so that's going to be Ray's choice. Cowboys are taking on the Rams. Michael Gallup, who was a part of that question, didn't get the thumbs up from either Ray or I. Got an update on the QB situation with Dallas. What are we looking at there?
Yeah, Dak Prescott is working with the rehab people, so he's not going to play this week. It's going to be another week of Cooper Rush. That's according to Ian Rappaport. So not surprising at all. They were pushing for this week, but we all kind of thought that week 6 was probably the earliest point, that Dak would be able to return.
Okay, so the news is coming out here on a Wednesday, and we will get a lot of other injury reports. This is the day where they really start dropping. Again, Jonathan Taylor is out, not looking good. In fact, pretty well out with Dak Prescott. Also, Daniel Jones participating in today's practice. Pretty good sign that he's going to be available for Sunday morning, but set your alarm clocks for all of those in a 2-quarterback league, Ray. They may get burned if they don't wake up early and find out if Daniel Jones is truly active for the Sunday morning kickoff.
Yeah, and I'll be back to doing Twitter this Sunday, so I'm sure I'll get the, hey, do I play these guys? And I have to tell people, I'm sorry, but the game started a half hour ago.
You're going to be like, what? Why are they playing games at Lambeau Field at 7 a.m.?
Yeah, right? And I'll be like, just listen to BSN. I bitched about it multiple days this week. So I'm with you.
Okay. Well, would you like to hear my top 10?
Let's do it.
This week, Ray.
Yeah.
Last week was pretty good. Not good, pretty good. Okay. Every week I give you my top 10. Last week I got 4 of the top 10 quarterbacks, 3 of the top 10 running backs, 3 of the top 10 receivers, and 4 of the top 10 tight ends. Now, on the surface, people say that's horrible. It's not. Because I invite you, find me your top 10 list that had Jamal Agnew. Anybody? Find me your top 10 list that had Josh Reynolds. Anybody? You know whose top 10 list had both Jared Goff and Geno Smith?
Who? That was very delayed as it came in slowly.
Well, Ray, I'm not used to it. It's brand new. Come on, give me a chance. I don't know my left, my right. I mean, it's
confusing, right? Yeah.
Mirror images.
Right.
Come on, Ray. Don't ruin what's behind the curtain. Okay. Come on, we're trying here. Yeah. Okay, here's my top 10 quarterbacks. Write them down, memorize them, and start them. Here they are. Top 10. Mahomes, Allen. Really going out on a limb to start things off. You know who's coming back, Ray, with a vengeance? You know who's pissed off that he's going to have to pay a bunch of lawyer fees now?
Who?
Tom Brady. Tom Brady is coming back hardcore this week. No one wants to be in the way of a ticked off Tom Brady.
With
nobody.
Mildly healthy receivers, maybe.
They're getting healthier. Evans, Godwin, these guys. Julio. I mean, Julio may get in 2 quarters this week, right?
Who knows? We can dream.
Who knows? Kirk Cousins going to have a rebound effort.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
Going to get a much better Trevor Lawrence this week. Ray, I am really leading with my chest on this one. I don't care who starts for New Orleans. I don't care if it's Winston or Dalton. Top 10 quarterback this week. How about that gutsy call, Ray? Winston or Dalton, without knowing who's starting, they're going to be a top 10 quarterback this week.
Well, the Seattle team just did give up 7,000 yards and 45 points, right?
There you go.
I wouldn't agree with your statement there, but I understand doing that. Yeah.
I wouldn't expect you to, Ray. I beat you last week in our head-to-head, so I understand we see things
That's
differently.
You have the winning side, and I don't.
Some win, some lose. I don't know what's not. 3 more names here.
Okay.
Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, and Zach Wilson.
Oh, Kyle.
So what? Ray, you said the same thing last week when I told you Davis Mills.
Yeah,
and he didn't finish top 10.
Okay.
But you said the same thing last week when I told you Geno Smith. Didn't you?
Fair.
Yes. Okay, I just want you to know.
I'm honest.
I'm the only, Ray, I am the only person anywhere in this ever growing world of fantasy football
Mhm.
that has Zach Wilson in their top 10 this week.
Since Zach Wilson's a QB3 this week, that's very bold. Yeah, I like
That's
it.
according to Ray, people.
Okay.
That's a good. He's okay. Ray, would you like a friendly wager here?
What would the wager be?
The wager will be Zach Wilson finishes closer to a top 10 quarterback than he does to a bottom 8 quarterback. Because bottom 8 would be 25th, or that's a QB3.
Right.
Pretty well.
Okay. But he has to play because there's that ankle issue, and we
he has to
play.
play.
Yeah. Okay.
So closer to a top 10 than a bottom 8.
Got it.
Now, what we've got on the line here, Ray, you're going to give me that Millennium Falcon thing that you were showing.
Can't give you that. That's made by my gal. If I gave that away, I'd be thrown out of the house.
Well, I want you to give up something that means
She
something.
hurt her hands when she did that thing. It's a lot of work.
Okay. Well, we'll maybe come up. How about I give you the fluorescent light ring that is like literally burning my retinas when we do this show on camera?
Right.
Like the light. Do you have that? Do you have one of these light rings?
Yeah,
Ray?
you have it. No, I just have the stealing can. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I gotta check with our producers, Heather and John.
Well,
this thing, Ray. I mean, literally, I'm gonna have to get eye insurance. I'm gonna start looking like Ray Flowers if I keep sitting in front of this ring. My hair is gonna be gone, and I'm gonna be wearing glasses.
So I've got 6 recessed lights on the ceiling. I have windows on both sides of me. I have a triple window right in front of me, and then I got French doors right here. So I got all kinds of
Jesus,
ambient
Ray,
light.
is there a style of window that you don't have in that room?
No, not really. Not really.
Do you also have like a geodisc dome over you that
No.
you can see the beautiful sky?
I do down there on the floor behind me to the left. You can see the top of my light there, my Star Wars light bulb. So I have
This
that.
guy, I'm telling you what, most of us are just regular, normal Joes.
Right.
Ray literally not only has the corner office, he has surround sound mirrors to look through, or windows to look through.
Down there below me on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see the light going off and on. I have that light if I need a little bit more ambient light.
Okay.
But yeah, Kyle, I know the ring you're talking about. I've seen people use them. It's very professional.
Yeah, well, this is what you win if you win the Zach Wilson bet. I'm giving you the light.
Okay, and you get a What Would Ray Flowers Do bracelet. There we go.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so we'll see how things work out there. Again, my top 10 QBs: Mahomes, Allen, Brady, Cousin, Hurts, Lawrence, Winston or Dalton, either one of them, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, and yes, Zach Wilson. So there we go. Top 10 running backs for this week: James Robinson, rebound effort. Leonard Fournette, just stay healthy, Leonard. Rebound effort for him.
Okay.
Damian Harris, 2 touchdowns. Nick Chubb, 1 touchdown. But Nick Chubb's on here.
All right.
Devin Singletary, Austin Eckler, Rashad Penny, James Conner, Breece Hall, and Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon, Ray, top 10 running back in week number 5.
Wow. Melvin Gordon, top 10.
You don't know where to start with this list, do
I
you?
really don't. I think our current rankings have Melvin Gordon over at fantasyguru.com at 21. So, again, we talked about this earlier. He's the guy to play this week. I said he was a running back too. I think you're being too aggressive, but to your point, and to the point we make all the time, let's be honest about these lists, why they're so difficult. 1 broken tackle, 1 slip tackle, 6-point touchdown. I mean, you go from 18th to 2nd, you go from 32nd to 19th. It's a huge, so it's not insane to say that, Kyle. I'm not.
I don't think there's anybody else for that offense, Ray. I'm not scared of Mike Boone, and I'm not scared with the ghost of Latavius Murray.
Right.
So
the Breece Hall one is interesting to me. He's the guy now. He's established himself. I think we saw that clearly last week with the Jets. But against Miami, they're not winning that game.
I got no, Ray Flowers. Newsflash, they are winning that game.
Okay, well, there you go. That's your problem right there, figuring that part out.
What, you're going to take Teddy Bridgewater? You're going to take 2
Absolutely.
glove Teddy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's where you're wrong. See, I favor Zach Wilson, and you think Teddy Bridgewater is a better quarterback.
He's always the answer, Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater. No, that's never the answer, right? Okay, well, I'm going. I got a lot of random ones there: Robinson and Hall and Connor and Singletary and Gordon. Feeling good about it. Wide receivers, we were just talking about Brandon Ayuk. It happens this week, Ray. Bust through moment. He's getting all those targets. He'll continue to get them. So I got Ayuk, Jamar Chase. Big Sunday night game for Jamar Chase.
Okay.
Book it. Lazard, Mike Evans, Drake London.
Rebound.
Got some other rookies coming your way. Check this out. Garrett Wilson, George Pickens, Cooper Kupp, Rondell Moore.
Oh, jeez.
And Ray, you'll like this one. You'll like this one. Juju Smith-Schuster. Finally going to have his moment with the Chiefs. They're up against the Raiders on Monday night. He finally gets a touchdown. I think he's got 20 catches without a touchdown. So he'll finally get the touchdown. He'll be a top 10 receiver this week. PPR setup, by the way, that Juju Smith-Schuster makes the top 10.
It's really interesting how, I mean, it's really the Rondell Moore one to me. I get it. Like Greg Dortch has produced in this offense. I mean, he has. Green's beat up. They don't have Hopkins. But Rondell Moore, I got to see it. He's had one good game. There's all the excitement.
He's got two after Sunday. Yeah.
Oh, after Sunday, right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, and I will say this. It takes balls. It takes more balls, I think, to have Cooper Kupp at 9 than it does to have Rondell Moore in your top 10.
Well, wait, I've kind of given up on the order thing.
Oh, okay.
These
so
are guys get
okay.
top 10.
Okay, that makes sense then. Because it's
I
like
mean, Cooper Kupp, how can you not have him number one every week?
Right, and it's cheap, but like, yeah, how do you not? You have to.
We got a question in the chat room, Ray, and I can't answer it because I have both these guys in my top 10.
No,
so I'm going to leave this to you.
Right.
What is this? Frausto Nick. That's the thing with these names, Ray. You never know where like the word cuts off or where it becomes one word. So I'm going to go with Frausto Nick. PPR flex option. Do you go Juju or do you go Rashad Penny?
Yeah, there have been people that are dropping Juju, which blows my mind. I don't get that. He's been disappointing, as you noted. Hasn't gotten the end zone either. He's been hit or miss week to week. The entire passing attack is, again, backup tight end scoring touchdowns. Like it's been messy there with the Chiefs, but he's a good play this week. Penny is also a good play. It's not about chasing points last week. It's about that, he's going to get 15 touches. And we know this when a running back gets 15 touches, they're in play. The matchup with the Saints is not a scary one, but it's not a good one. I would still favor Penny because as much as I do anticipate Juju having a rebound effort and Juju being the guy we can play as a wide receiver 3 this season, there's been enough times where we don't see him in the offense, enough time we haven't seen him involved that I'm going to take the touch count with Penny over the potential of Juju.
Yeah, well, let me confirm. You mentioned people dropping Juju Smith-Schuster, Ray. It's 5 catches a week.
I know. Ted Schuster was talking about it yesterday on Sirius.
Yeah, it's what, 55 yards a week?
Mm-hmm.
And as you always remind me, Ray, that's 105 catches if he keeps this average up. Like, who would ever drop a guy who's on pace for 105 catches?
The same people that were pissed last year that Kyle Pitts scored 1 touchdown.
Yeah. Did somebody say Kyle Pitts? He did make the top 10 at tight end this week, Ray.
He missed practice today.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, all right.
Doesn't matter. He was yelling at the coach saying, "Get me in the damn game. Use me. Come on. Don't abuse me. Use me." Here's your top 10 at tight end, Ray. Goddard, Andrews, Pitts, Kelsey, Conklin, Higbee. I love this next call. Jawan Johnson. Seattle, Ray, can't. Hawkinson, what did we see last week? Look at that.
8, 179, and 2 or whatever it was.
Yeah, give me 460 and 1, and Jawan Johnson is top 10. Darren Waller, Logan Thomas, Hunter Henry also in there. Jonnu's out, by the way. Mm-hmm. So maybe some more time for Hunter Henry if he's working with Zappy. Let's do it. So there's my top 10 at tight end. Jawan Johnson. That Seattle defense, Ray, I think they're the worst in football through 4 games against opposing tight ends.
No one talks about Jawan Johnson because he's done nothing, but he plays the most snaps, runs the most routes. He's the most involved tight end with that team. And people can play the Taysom Hill gimmick game and try to get something out of that. But yeah, I mean, you look at this. Hawkinson went for 2 touchdowns and 179. Kyle Pitts had his 587 game against them. In week 1, Beck and Albert O had 7 catches for 85 yards. against Seattle. So they've struggled.
Preach, brother Ray. Preach.
Yeah, they've struggled against that position.
Yeah, so Jawan Johnson, there's your guy. That's your DFS guy, if nothing else. Going Jawan Johnson. Okay, top 10s are in. There you go. There you can book it. You don't even need to worry about anything over the next 72 hours. It's all taken care of. Everybody else will also hold off on their top 10s probably until tomorrow. Or your guy, do you guys have your rankings out, Ray, over at Fantasy Guru?
Yeah, they come out Tuesday. But then they come out Tuesday, they get updated Friday, and I think Saturday as well. So they get updated.
No, there's also the update at 2:00 Eastern, right after I reveal my list, and you guys go, oh God, we better change this.
We better
break
that game down again. Run the simulation again. Yep.
This guy says Melvin Gordon's number 8.
What did we miss? What did we miss?
Get going. Let's model this sucker out one more time. Let's see what we got here. Okay, top 10s are in. When we return on Lunch Money, we are back to our memorabilia showdown. Can we possibly get Ray Flowers to trade in the football that was involved in the immortal catch between Montana and Dwight Clark? Can we get Kyle Elfrink to give up his Tiger Woods first ever winning trophy ever as a child? Probably was 6 years old. Hell, maybe 5. Did he win the Masters when he was 5?
9.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, he was 9. Okay. I knew he was young when he won the Masters, but I didn't know how young. But I've got that trophy / plaque or medal, whatever the hell it is. A lot of people in our room are still holding on to the Barry Bonds baseball from number 73. Now, I got more memorabilia to tease you with. We'll see if we can tease Ray enough. Coming up next on Lunch Money right here on the Bettor Sports Network.
Collectible moments.
Everybody up here at U.S. Cellular. Sox 5 runs, 6 hits. The 2-1 to Bartlett. Swing shot to short. Ramirez has it, throws. Burley picks a perfect game. His second no-hitter. People going crazy here at U.S. Cellular. He's mobbed by his teammates. A perfecto.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. Right up, 1 second left. What a play by Bird. Bird stole the impounding pass. Laid it up to DJ. DJ laid it up at him. And Boston has a 1-point lead with 1 second left.
Out of the I formation on first down. Peterson to carry, looking for running room on the right side, has it to the 25, across the 30, across the 35, and out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Adrian Peterson has just gone over 2,000 yards for the season, the 7th man in NFL history to cross the 2,000-yard mark.
Well, a thundering ovation for number 66, Mario Lemieux.
Just the emotion I'm sure Mario is feeling in this place. You don't appreciate something until it's gone, and it's so great to have Mario back.
Yager turns around. Over to Lemieux.
Mario Lemieux, his first goal in his comeback here tonight at the Mellon Arena. And the Penguins lead 3-0, and he is smiling like a butcher's dog. Mario Lemieux.
Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. The Bears have scored, but the bands are out on the field.
Pearson moves in front of the STP does. Petty comes back to the inside. They almost touch as they move down low in the banking. They're going to be side by side as they exit the bank and head for the finish line.
Richard Petty goes back in front. They both spin. They're in the wall. Petty is sliding, slamming into the wall. He's coming down toward the finish line. Will he make it? Pearson is still running. The winner is car number 21. An amazing finish. Richard Petty's car demolished in the front end, as well as car number 21. An unbelievable finish, a terrible crash. David Pearson has won the Daytona 500. Leitner catches, comes down, dribbles, shoots, scores! Christian Leitner has hit the bucket at the buzzer! Pitched by Downey, swinging, there's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7-15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
The most valuable player is Magic Johnson. 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists. He starts at center, plays forward and guard, and leads the Los Angeles Lakers to a world championship 123-107 over Philadelphia.
Whether you collect sports memorabilia, fantasy championships, or winning bet slips, talk about it on Bettor Sports Network. It's always lunchtime here. Now back to Kyle Elfrink and Ray Flowers.
Good to have you back with us. It is Lunch Money on a Wednesday. Brought you the breaking news from earlier, about 30, 40 minutes ago. We have learned that Jonathan Taylor is out for the Thursday night game. If you've got Naheem Hines, fire him up. If you're really desperate, maybe see if you can pick up Deion Jackson or, hell, maybe even Philip Lindsay for free. A lot of you have already run waiver wires, and now the pickups are free. Those might be options. I'm not really feeling those guys. I don't think Ray's feeling those guys. Hines is fine, but you're really stretching if you're going with those other two Colts. We're having fun today with some sports memorabilia. Last night was historic home run number 62 by Aaron Judge. Nobody in American League history has ever hit that many home runs. The ball is worth millions, at least it is right now. Ray and I thought we'd have a little fun saying, would you trade the ball for this? Would you trade this for that? So we're doing a sports memorabilia showdown. We are long done with that Aaron Judge baseball. That thing, we practically threw it in the trash. We had no interest in that ball. Ray, you currently are still holding on to the Dwight Clark catch football, which, this is very near and dear to Ray's heart. So I think it's going to be difficult to get this one out of his hands. I currently have, and I don't even know that this exists. We're kind of just hoping it does. The first ever plaque, trophy, medal, whatever it is. Tiger Woods' first golf tournament win as a kid. I want that one. In the chat room, it's about half and half with the baseball by Barry Bonds, home run 73, and I think half are following Ray's lead, which they're probably going to do whatever Ray says here. All these Star Wars geeks, all these guys who, drink weird beers these guys do whatever Ray tells them. So I think they're following your lead on this one. The memorabilia showdown continues, Ray. Up next, we have the microphone that was used by both Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig during their luckiest man on the face of the earth speech. There it is, Lou Gehrig. Everybody knows the Lou Gehrig part. Before that, Babe Ruth actually spoke. So this is the same microphone, Ray. What was that, back in the late 20s or so?
I think it was 39, I think.
Oh, late 30s. Okay, I was way off on that one. The microphone, you see it right there, Ray. We're assuming this thing is somewhere out there, probably in the doldrums of the RCA basement, out there. Ray, a true artifact here. It's very ancient. You've got two players who their spittle is probably still on there. Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth. Are you trading the ball for that microphone?
Because you were obviously on the show with me last week. Last week, my Friday memorabilia piece was my McFarlane Lou Gehrig figure that is from this day. It's this actual moment. It's there. It's got him and the microphone itself. So that is something obviously that I'm attracted to generally. Growing up, as a kid and not knowing anything about Lou Gehrig other than he was a Yankee and a tremendous baseball player, and reading all these reports because we didn't have the internet. I don't think I saw a video of Lou Gehrig live until I was 20 years old. He was very much like, oh my gosh, the greatest player of all time. He's first base like me. I'm taking the microphone. I am. As much as I love the catch, I'm going for it. I'm getting that microphone.
Well, I'm taking the microphone too, Ray.
Okay.
And it's because I need a replacement. This thing, give me a break.
Look at that.
How cool would that be to host this show? And it's like I'm using the Lou Gehrig Babe Ruth microphone.
Well, look at that thing, though. It's got red fluorescent light. You can change the color, right?
I don't know. Ray, you really think I've sat around here and played with the color scheme on my microphone?
I think it was pink at one point.
I'm raising a kid, Ray. Not all of us are raising dogs and cats, okay? I can't sit here and play with my microphone for 4 hours a day.
I think it was pink before. So I think it changes colors. Maybe it depends on your mood.
I don't think they saw it earlier there. I don't know if it changes colors. I didn't buy the super skilled one or anything. I'm taking the microphone, though, Ray. I'm just like you. How badass would it be to be speaking into this microphone that Gehrig and Ruth had spoken into?
Do you think you could? I mean, you're more tech guy than I am with this stuff. Do you think you could? Would the quality be good enough, or would it need to have its innards worked on?
I'm guessing that after 80 years, Ray, I don't know if it's compatible with USB cords. I don't know if I can immediately sit down and plug it into my computer. That might be a little difficult for me. So I don't think so. But you've got the mic. I've got the mic. I think the room is still sitting with the baseball, Ray.
Okay.
They want these baseballs. They don't care about this microphone. So we'll move away from that. Memorabilia Showdown continues. Here's a good one, Ray. Also from the world of baseball. You and I can keep the Lou Gehrig Babe Ruth microphone. Or we can trade it in for the pants, mitt, and shoes that Bill Buckner was wearing when Mookie Wilson's ground ball went between the wickets. Game 6 of the 86 World Series. So you got your Ruth Gehrig microphone, luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Yep.
Or you can get the, I guess I should say, waistline and down of Bill Buckner. Pants, no jock strap or stirrups or socks. This is just pants, mitt, and shoes of Bill Buckner when the ball rolled between his legs.
Yeah, you got to have the mitt, right? Otherwise, the rest of it's kind of pointless.
It hasn't been used,
right?
So,
I mean, Bill Buckner had 2,700 hits in his career. He's such a good player, and he's remembered for the faux pas. I don't, as much as I'm a negative guy, which we all know I am, I don't want to celebrate negativity. So I'm going to keep the microphone. I think it's one of the greatest moments in sports history, that speech from Lou Gehrig. The Buckner one is, ignominious to say the least. I'm keeping the microphone.
Well, I was the one who traded in anything for the OJ.
Yeah, well, you don't care about that.
I'm not above taking, bad pieces of memorabilia.
Right.
But this one doesn't fit for me. Yeah. I agree. It's no. I mean, the mitt. I mean, what the hell am I going to do with Bill Buckner's pants? Come on, nobody needs those. His cleats. I don't need dirt all over the house. So this one doesn't really interest me. Give me the microphone. I'm staying with it. Okay, we got another piece of sports memorabilia, and we do have more to come. So stay with us. But our next piece of sports memorabilia. Currently, Ray and I are sitting with the Gehrig and Ruth microphone. Next up, Ray, is Mike Aruzione's Miracle on Ice jersey.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Perhaps the greatest moment in sports history of the 20th century. I was too young to remember it. Can you, or do you remember this at all?
I was old enough to have remembered it, but I do not remember it. At that point in my life, I was 7 years old. We didn't have hockey in California. I didn't care about hockey. I don't think my family was even watching it.
Plus, that game was being played on the East Coast, and as we know, the Flowers were busy sleeping when that game was
How dare we sleep till 7 o'clock in the morning? We're such slackers out
here. No,
here.
that game, Ray, was on prime time. Well, actually, I think they may have tape delayed it. Somebody needs I think it may have been played, but tape. But back then, you didn't know.
Right. There was no
you didn't have the internet, so it was all like live to the audience.
Right.
But Ray, it wasn't very late out. You cannot use the West Coast and the time zone.
It was in New York, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
like
yes, it was like if the game's at 7 o'clock, that's 4 o'clock your time. What the hell are you doing as a 7-year-old?
This is not my parents. Again, no dig on my parents, because again, we didn't have hockey. I seen like ice like 3 times in my life by the time I was 7 years of age. It wasn't a thing we had out here in California.
Well, as you have aged, you have grown to respect this.
Absolutely.
Movie. Like I said, it goes down as for many, anybody in our audience may be in their 60s or 70s. This might be like the only hockey moment they ever have even cared about ever. So Ray, it's a Mike Eruzione who scored the 4th goal. I think they scored 4 goals in that win over the Soviet Union, which was the semifinals, by the way. Right. Ray, do you want the hockey jersey, Miracle on Ice, a true historic artifact, or do you stay with the Gehrig and Ruth microphone?
Yeah, the captain's jersey from one of, like you said, the greatest team sport upsets ever. There's a great documentary about the Red Army. I think it's on Netflix still, about the the Russian teams and everything. And this was insanity. It was the greatest team in sports in the world at the time against a bunch of college kids. Like people probably seen the Kurt Russell movie.
It'd be like the Golden State Warriors, Ray, getting beat by a really good high school team.
Yeah, legitimately. Yeah, it was insanity. Boy, I'm torn here. I'm taking the jersey, though. I'm doing it.
Jersey? You're a jersey guy. I mean, you like your jerseys.
I do like my jerseys. It'd be a beautiful thing to display. It's Americana. It's one of the greatest upsets, like you said, in sports history. I'm taking it.
Our room's taking it, too. Wookie, Get in the Game, The Rock, others, they've all gone jersey, Ray. They're all going jersey.
USA.
I'm not going jersey, and I'm not doing it just to be different. The microphone to me is something I'd rather have. The jersey is vitally cool, but I don't feel a part of that moment, Ray. Now, people may say, well, why do you feel a part of a moment that happened in 1939? Agreed. But I am a baseball guy.
Right.
This is Lou Gehrig. This is Babe Ruth. This is something that, people use that line, I'm the luckiest man on the face of the earth. They have nothing to do with sports.
No idea where it even comes from, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. And this, your jersey has some of that too. Even if you're not a sports fan, you probably know the Miracle on Ice. You've heard of it.
Yep.
We've all heard the Al Michaels call, which it would have really been cool if he was using the Gehrig Ruth microphone for that, but he wasn't. So we can't cross-pollinate our memorabilia. I'm going to stay with the microphone on this one.
It's a tough call.
It is a tough call. Now, guys in the studio, if you can put that photo up again of that moment, at the end of the game, which not this particular angle that we had earlier. But Ray, the angle that's kind of on the cover of the Sports Illustrated magazine, which is more of an ISO. So this one's kind of up,
right.
Up in the stands, that angle. The one that's on the Sports Illustrated cover, which is kind of lower and then moved to the left and kind of more directly looking at the goal, and you see a little more of the fans. That, to me, if I were choose to what is the best singular sports photo of all time, the one on the cover of that Sports Illustrated that's at a lower angle, looking more directly to the net at this very moment. And the great part about that photo, the one I'm saying is the best of all time, is the swinging of the flag. Like, it's placed perfectly, the American flag on that photo. That, to me, Ray, is the top sports photo of all time, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, it's
really
like framed. Yeah, it's framed awesomely.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's, and again, it's such a historic moment. I don't think that either one of you could make the case for either one of these pieces. They're historic to the nth degree, way better than a white Bronco. But yeah, I just, maybe it's my patriotism. I don't know.
Yeah. That photo, the one, anybody, you just Google SI Miracle on Ice photo. You just Google that, SI Miracle on Ice. And what you see on that photo that you don't get on the one we're showing right now is, Ray, more of the emotion of like the players and the fans. I mean, it's just wild. And it looks like everybody's falling over in excitement. Right. I mean, that photo just lives, man. That's one of those, and the flag sells it. It's dynamite. It's that's like something, Ray, and I don't, what year is it? That's 1980. March of 80. March of 80. Like, that is something, Ray, and I'm just gonna guess, like, you buy that issue, of Sports Illustrated. I don't know, maybe it's $1,000. Ray, that's like something I'd be tempted to buy, like that issue of Sports Illustrated, just because that photo is so damn cool. Like, it can't be beaten, that photo. Just pretty dramatic.
And a lot of times nowadays there's 10 million cameras at every event, right? So everything is captured. Back in the day, like there's the famous Bobby Orr shot where he hits the goal and he's flying through the air. Like, you had to be on it, and you just had how many guys had cameras there? 10 people were shooting that game, and they had to shoot it at the right time. They had film, wasn't digital. They were just holding the button down. It was so getting shots like that in the olden days was much more difficult too.
Okay, well, Ray has made the switch. He's got the Mike Eruzione Miracle on Ice jersey. Chat room's kind of going Ray's direction. Again, they always go Ray's direction. I wouldn't even say. Ray's like the David Koresh of fantasy sports here. Whatever you say, they follow, Ray. I mean, next thing I know, you're going to tell them to drink Dr. Pepper and drape themselves under purple cloths and like wait for the meteor to come to pick them up from Earth, and they'll do it. They'll listen to you, Ray.
Wow, now we're to Heaven's Gate. Okay, you got them all going there.
Yeah, I'm mixing up Koresh.
Yeah, well, hell. Get Jones in there
I am
too.
still sticking with my microphone. I've still got that. Now we have one more round of sports memorabilia to go. One more round. We will save that before we get out of here on lunch money. Right now, Ray, it is time for our lunch hunch. Something you've got a feeling about. Something you've got an itch, if you will, on What is your lunch hunch for this Wednesday?
My lunch hunch is the following. We're going out in style here. It's the last day of the regular season in baseball. Javi Baez, who's had a terrible season for the Tigers, is going to come through today. It's big odds. It's a plus 475 for him to go deep. He's sixth in baseball the last 2 weeks in launch angle. So he's getting the ball up in the air. He's got 2 home runs in 5 games, 3 home runs in 9 games. So he's hit the ball into the seats a little bit. We heard that Marco Gonzalez is going to pitch for the Mariners, and the word kind of on the street is that he's going to pitch for the Mariners no matter what happens. They're going to get innings out of him to save the bullpen. So if he struggles, he stays in the game. Usually he goes deep into games regardless, but he has had a huge issue with home runs this year, Marco Gonzalez. In 2 of the last 3 games, he's allowed 3 home runs in each outing. He's allowed 9 home runs his last 5 games. We've obviously got the lefty-righty thing going on here. So we're going out in style, Kyle. Javi Baez plus 475 to hit a home run today against the Mariners.
Okay, I've got baseball too, Ray, but it doesn't have anything to do with today. I am already thinking postseason. I'm already looking ahead to the postseason. Nice. Matchups are set. Everything's settled. All of our matchups are good to go. 3-game series will start on Friday. And we've got 4 different series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Best of 3, boom, that's it. You're out if you lose the best of 3. So, Ray, the matchups we got, Philadelphia's at St. Louis. Seattle's at Toronto. Looks like the Mets will be hosting the Padres. And Cleveland will take on Tampa. Now, of those 4 series, which one do you think nobody in the world cares about?
Yeah, pretty easy.
Rays and Guardians.
The one with my name in it. Yeah, no one cares.
But Ray, I do care about that Mariners Blue Jays game. And not just game, the series. Right now, at least this was this morning. I doubt it's changed. Straight up, you can get Seattle to beat Toronto in the wild card series plus 140. I dig it. And I think the odds could actually get longer as we get closer to Friday. Ray, the reason I dig this is Seattle, they're okay as a hitting team. They're okay. But I think they're really good as a 3-man staff. Like, I think when you can throw Logan Gilbert, Robbie Ray, and Luis Castillo, that's strong. Yep. That's better than what Toronto has. And I think all those guys can strike out all those guys on the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays can threaten you with the bats. And it's one of my favorite wild card matchups, Ray, is these Mariner pitchers against these Blue Jay bats. I don't think the Blue Jays have near as much pitching as the Mariners do. The Mariners also have a bullpen where I think, Ray, like all 8 guys throw 100. like the Mariners have a bullpen where it's like all, space age futuristic movement with they're crazy. Their pitches are. Right. Now they're not all great and they have control issues and they're not perfect. Nobody is. But Ray, I think this staff can go to Toronto, pull off the upset. So I'm going with the Mariners to win that first round series at plus 140.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a good series, like you said. And, pitching has obviously negated offense in series in the playoffs. We always talk about it. Pitching wins, right? That's why the teams are always searching for it and trying to gear up their rotations for the playoffs, get guys in the right slots and everything like that. It's an interesting matchup. And it's you look at the offense of both teams and we know one team is sexy, but like you said, you look at that pitching staff of the Mariners and maybe it helps them compete in this one.
Okay, so those are the lunch hunches, both Ray and I, with a little baseball here. Mine, you've got some time on. Ray's, your game probably starts here in an hour and a half. We got a lot of daytime baseball today. I think most of these games start at 3 or 4 o'clock. So final day of the season, kind of weird to do it on a Wednesday. I'm sure it's happened, Ray, but it's like I always think every year I've been alive, Sunday is the final day of the regular season.
Yeah, and the season really should end the last day of September, really. It should, but
well, I get it. This year they had issues
with
the lockout and everything, so we'll let it slide. Let's see. Josh, I think Josh Winchester Tommy just said. Who's Tommy? Am I missing something? Tommy? Guys, who's Tommy? Tommy says, Ray, maybe it's somebody in the chat room, that you can get the Miracle on Ice magazine for $9,000. That is out of my price range, Ray. Now, I don't know if that's a mint condition. I don't need a 10 grade.
It's a 9
Ray,
grade, Kyle.
I'll take a 6 grade.
This is a 9.
This is a 9.
9.
Yeah.
$9,000 for a 9.
Yeah, I don't need a 9. I'll take a 6. You know, if it's got a couple creases on it, you know, somebody spilled their Dr. Pepper on it, I'll take it. I just want the artifact. 9K is pretty. It's hard to believe, Ray, that a magazine that was produced in the millions.
Right.
Like there were millions of that magazine produced and sold. 40 years later, a good one fetches 9,000.
Yeah, I wonder what a 10 would fetch. It'd probably be double that too, right? It's one of those things that, you know, we've talked about it a lot here, you and I off air before we even started here at BSN. We have a lot of baseball cards and everything. And we collected baseball cards during the era of mass production. And so they're not worth anything, you know, and, you know, back in even in the, 1980, when this was happening, like people collected Sports Illustrated, right? But how many people kept Sports Illustrated? You know, it's like you read it. You didn't keep it in a little folder in the drawer in the closet, or, you know, so there's a lot of memorabilia pieces that are around these days, but finding them in the high quality is difficult.
We will continue our sports memorabilia showdown coming up in just a bit. Also, we'll get you a rundown of the top performers thus far in fantasy football. A lot of us treat this sport like it's week to week. We often don't take a step back and say, okay, what's actually happening? Like, let's take the emotion out of it. Who's scoring the points? Who ranks as an RB1, as a wide receiver 1? We're going to tell you next. We got numbers. We've got dessert to go, all leading you up to Corey, Nando, and friends coming your way at 3 o'clock Eastern. Before any of that, I know our man Duke, he's probably got some bets for us. So let's send it to the den and see what Duke has right here on BSN.
Hey, good afternoon, bettors. It's your boy Duke, back and better than ever, presented to you as always by fantasyguru.com, your home for all of your seasonal, daily, and betting needs. Anything sports, we got it. Use code BETTOR, BETTOR, for 20% off any package. Reminder right now, if you buy NFL, you get college football for free. And we have a little special something we're cooking up for you right now for these winter sports, NHL, NBA, coming very, very soon. Stay tuned. But you are in the Duke's Den. This is where I try to make you money one bet at a time. Wednesday, College Football Wednesday. How nice is it to have some sports on tonight? In fact, my wife said to me, what are we doing tonight? I said, well, we got football on. She said, I thought NFL was on Thursday. And I said, you're right, honey. It is on Thursday. This is even better. It's college. And she said, they play college football on Wednesday? And I said, hell yes, they do. And we're going to make some money. And she said, well, you said that Tuesday about your soccer picks. And I said, listen, do you want eggs or not? I'll turn the stove off right now, young lady. No, I didn't say that. Yeah, right. Kidding me? Let's make some money. SMU goes down to Orlando. UCF Golden Knights. Or are they just the Knights? I noticed they got rid of the Golden for some reason. But beautiful weather. Low 80s, high 70s come kickoff. Minimal winds, minimal rain. Perfect weather for offense, right? Well, listen, this is why it's important to get the best side of the number. I've preached this before. I'm going to continue to preach it. I started handicapping this game Monday for actually one of the Monday videos. I got pulled away into some other work. I couldn't finish the job. I was leaning SMU and the under. Why is that important? I've had market agreement on both sides of the picks. Number one, UCF opened -4.5 favorites. It's now down to 3, and in some spots 2.5. I would have liked to get SMU -4 or +4.5 versus 2.5 or 3 at this point. Also, the total has gone from 65.5. When I was looking, it was 64.5, already moved down a point, and today it's 62.5. So again, I like that I have some market agreement. It tells me I'm on the right side in my handicapping process. But come game day, Wednesday, I've now missed out on the best of both of these numbers that I liked. So how do we pivot? Well, number one, I do like that SMU is battle-tested. They've taken on Maryland and TCU. Granted, both losses, but put up 27 and 34 points in each of those games. However, that Maryland offense under Tagovailoa can explode. And, of course, TCU, we've saw what they've done to some good teams this year. 42 points on them. The UCF defense is where I want to focus. Absolutely shutting down Malik Cunningham through the air. Just 201 yards, no picks, no touchdowns. 121 on the ground. Now, Mordecai from SMU, far more of a pocket passer than a runner. I want to see how this UCF backfield holds up. Instead of taking a side, because I've missed the best of the SMU number, I hate to poop in our soup, but I'm going under again. Give me under 62.5. Would have loved it at 64.5. Still like it at 62.5. No idea who wins, but I think we see a low-scoring game. That's the bet. Enjoy Wednesday Night Football. Here's...
It's always lunchtime here. Now back to Kyle Elfrink and Ray Flowers.
think I could just rock out to this for the final 30 minutes. A little Japan droids coming your way on a Wednesday. Did I just hear Duke say, hate to poop in your soup?
Man,
I like that. I like that. It is soup season, so we have to start getting ready for the chilly weather. No doubt. We welcome you back to Lunch Money. Kyle and Ray, big thank you to Duke. Great stuff as always. Thanks for the reminder that we do have some football coming your way tonight. Let's see. Final half hour for us, and we're busy in this final half hour. First off, Jonathan Taylor out. That has been stated. We have talked it over. You can probably find it on Twitter. You can probably find it on demand. Probably find it on YouTube. I don't know. Ray's probably got it posted. I do not have anything to post, but Ray, somebody will post it.
Well, and so on Twitter, at Bettor Network, they tweeted out we were talking about it too. But yeah, there's obviously many ways that folks can consume the product here at BSN.
Yeah. None of them are my way, though. That is not how you'll be able to consume them. So talking over Jonathan Taylor, inactive for tomorrow night's game. Not looking good for Dak Prescott. That news has come out. We're still kind of day-to-day with Keenan Allen. Probably a decent shot for Daniel Jones to be playing this week. We will get more reports in the next 2 to 3 hours. So again, stick around for Corey Nando and friends as those reports become official. They will make sure to let you know here on the Bettor Sports Network. For us, Ray, it is time to remind everybody what's been good in the first 4 weeks. Everybody wants to complain, but what's been good? So I figured, Ray, with 4 weeks in the rearview mirror, a whole month of fantasy football, it is worth checking in to see who are actually the top performers at each position. And are we getting hits, misses? What are we seeing? Here are the quarterback rankings. And what I did, Ray, is a top 12, QB1s, in effect. Top 12 right now, total points. This is a PPR setup. I think, should have checked. I think there's a 6 points per touchdown league.
Okay.
So again, it may be a little different if you're in a 4-point league. I should ask you, Ray, do you come across more 4 or 6 point?
Majority of the leagues I'm in are 4. Yeah.
Okay. Is that what you feel from the from respondents and followers on Twitter?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, a lot of people still say 4 versus 6. So I know there's a lot of uncertainty with what the standard is, but I think it's 4 for most, if I had to guess.
Okay. 6 is old school. And I'm still, I went to my home league. It's a PPR. It's a 6-pointer. So I just grabbed them from here this morning. So here are the top 12 quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson 1, followed by Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, 1, 2, 3. No big surprise there. Jared Goff is 4. Then Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray. How about Carson Wentz, who has sucked the last 2 weeks, but scored so many points in the first 2 weeks, he's still top 10. Geno Smith is 10. Then Tua Tagovailoa and Trevor Lawrence. So, Ray, probably the surprises there would be Goff, Wentz, and Geno. I mean, Tua and Trevor Lawrence to an extent, but a lot of people were drafting him as high-end 2s. So to see him sneak in as 1s, no shocker. Like Wentz versus Geno Smith. If I cornered you, Ray, and said choose one for the rest of the year, who would you choose?
I'd go Wentz, warts and all. I just, I see the 39 pass, 289-yard, 3-touchdown game from Wentz. I don't see it from Geno, despite what we have seen. The uncertainty with Wentz, though, is, it's a head-to-head game, so it's tough because, like you're saying, he went 303 the first 2 games, and, he's got 1 touchdown pass the last 2 games, averaging like 190 yards. He's all over the place. Maybe Geno Smith is more consistent week to week, but I would still take Carson Wentz.
I actually made a move, Ray, in one of my leagues. This is the league where I lost Dak Prescott. I picked up Carson Wentz. Wentz this week is home against Tennessee. Geno Smith is at New Orleans. I went out last night and I said, I'm going to throw $2 on Geno Smith. Dump Carson Wentz because I expect Prescott hopefully back next weekend. I don't know if I feel good, Ray, but I got Geno Smith. I don't know if I feel good about it. I like the matchup a bit more this week, taking on New Orleans than I do Wentz against Tennessee. It only cost me $2. Now, maybe it cost me a victory this week. Maybe I'm going to wake up Monday morning and regret the idea. If Geno Smith scores, 12 points and Wentz has 24, I'm going to hate myself. Maybe it's only for 1 week, but like I said, $2. And I said, I'll just kind of randomly, I didn't think I'd get him. I thought somebody, Ray, would go like $8-9 on Geno Smith, but I guess nobody's really caring about Geno Smith and what he's done.
And that's why it's so difficult too, and why I'm always surprised by all the trades and everything that we talk about, because Geno Smith, again, has been a QB1. No one really buys it, but it's happened. And it's not one game, it's 4 games. It's like you were saying the other day, it's a quarter of the season. It's it's substantial, but the quarterback position is still pretty even, and these other guys, and so it's just really tough. It's a perfect example of it's another perfect example too, by the way, of why you don't have to be the first 2 or 3 people in your league to get a quarterback. You can still obviously have success not doing that.
Well, and my concern, it's almost like I'm more negative on Wentz than I am positive on Smith.
Understood.
Like Wentz, Ray, it's tough watching that offense because he seems shook. And I get it, dude, man. Guys are in his face constantly, and he has no time to set up and throw. So I just kind of bailed on the idea. We'll see how it works out. Top 12 running backs through 4 weeks. PPR, we got Barkley, Chubb, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Austin Eckler. It's amazing what a 3-touchdown effort will do for you. He goes into the top 5. McCaffrey, Jamal Williams, Brandon Jacobs, Josh Jacobs.
Both running backs. You're the right position.
Boy, we would have been going into the Wayback Files on that brand. Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Miles Sanders, Aaron Jones, Cordero Patterson, and James Robinson. Ray, some of those guys are totally expected. They were drafted to be RB1s, and they are RB1s. There's a lot, not a lot, but there's a few RB2s here that are kind of just outperforming. And then you have randoms like Jamal Robinson, like Jamal Williams, or James Robinson, Jamal Williams. I mean, you might say Sanders and Patterson are randoms, but Ray, they were probably RB2s still on draft day. It kind of depends when you drafted. I know everybody wants to make a big deal out of how bad running backs are every year and RB1s. Ray, half the top 12 is RB1s. Guys you drafted to be RB1s, and they are RB1s. So, I mean, Barkley, Chubb, Eckler, McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, these guys are kind of doing what they were drafted to do.
Yeah, but Najee Harris, Dalvin Cook, Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, all these guys are outside the top 20 at the position. Now, Swift is hurt. Taylor's now hurt. But it's been roller coaster like with and I see a lot of this on social media. If you're an idiot if you drafted running backs this year, so that's making the rounds through 4 games because that's told the entire story of the season. But yeah, I mean, and I think it goes to show you too, because as much as we get excited about this and think the story is written after 4 weeks, Cordero Patterson, like him or hate him, fine, whatever. He's top 12, right? He's got 2 games of single-digit points, and he's still top 12. So, it's a long season, and really, we say it all the time here on the show, getting 17 touches a week, you win at the running back spot. Zeke Elliott owners, you're going to win if you get 17 touches a week. It's not great. That will win it for you. So keep the faith in these guys to get the workload.
Let's go to wide receivers. A lot of guys coming through based off draft day cost. Number 1 is Kupp. Then Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Jalen Waddle. Hollywood Brown is in our top 10 and top 12. Devontae Adams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, which is pretty remarkable considering he's only played 3 games.
Absolutely.
Christian Kirk, A.J. Brown, Cortland Sutton, and T. Higgins. Funny to see T. Higgins in here, Ray, and no Jamar Chase. I think Chase is like 15th, maybe. It's not like he's been bad, but T. Higgins all the way up as a wide receiver 1 thus far.
Yeah, in the league I'm looking at, Chase actually has a point more, but it's similar. Okay. It's very interesting. And there's a lot of numbers out there. When these 2 guys play together, like their target total is very similar. A lot of it has to do with the matchups they're facing, more zone versus man-to-man, who shows up each week. But there are 2 guys that they're not boom or bust, but it's very difficult to get 100, 600 and a touchdown out of both guys each week. So there's a lot of that back and forth, but both of them have been, right there. Top 20 wide receivers were on draft day, and they've been performing at that level to this point in time.
Here's what we have at tight end: Kelsey, Andrews, Hawkinson, Ertz, Higbee, Everett, Conklin, Freiermuth, Goddard, Disley, Njoku, and Waller. I know everybody hates the position, Ray, but I'd say 8 or 9 of those guys are kind of what they were expected to be. Give or take. Once you get to like the 8th tight end, 8 through 15 is kind of all the same. So in some leagues, the guy's drafted 15th, in other leagues, he's 9th. Really, the only, I would say, surprises, Ray, would be Njoku, Disley, and Everett. Like those are the 3. Like even Ty Conklin, I could make a case for him as a top 12 guy coming into the year. I mean, really only 3 of the 12 are like, hey, you don't belong here. But and Disley, Ray, it's kind of just small sample size, 4 game. He's got 3 touchdowns.
Right.
We don't expect Will Disley to be anywhere near this list at the end of the year.
Yeah, I would expect, Disley, who's in the top 12, and Knox, who's not. Like they flip, right? It's one of those things. I think it's almost this position today is really as much about the mistakes. Well, not the mistakes, the poor performances than it is the good ones. Like, Kyle Pitts, what's he, 18th? I'm looking at mine. He's 18th. Kyle Pitts is 18th. He's drafted 2nd or 3rd in every league at that position. What about OJ Howard, who everyone had to have? He scored 18 points in week 1. He scored like 6 points since. So, yeah, this position hasn't been as crazy as we kind of thought it would be at the start of the season, but it'll get there. I have faith.
Yeah. And that's the other thing to remember with if you ignore running backs early. I hate calling 0 RB because some people say, oh, I got my first RB in the 5th round. To me, that's not 0 RB. But Ray, we always say, well, I avoided those running back potholes. Well, did you end up drafting Kyle Pitts? Like, did you just take him in the 2nd round? Or what was the pothole you avoided? And instead you went with Amari Cooper as your wide receiver. So, it's very easy to say, see, I told you so, but everybody had a different experience. I'm still totally fine with going running backs. I still feel that's the way to build. That's the way to win. So that's where I'm sticking. Quickly on defenses for what it's worth, and I don't know if it's worth much, but your top 12 is Philly, San Francisco, Buffalo, Tampa, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Dallas, Cincinnati, Denver, Carolina, Seattle. I would venture to say, look at the quarterbacks those 12 teams have played, and that will explain to you why they are in the top 12. So we'll see how that develops moving forward. A little bit of time here for numbers on a Wednesday. We always like to get this to you once a week and pass along some interesting tidbits. For instance, Ray, and I heard this or saw this over the weekend. I think I saw it Sunday night. It's about the London games, Ray. This blew me away. The NFL, I think, has played 16 games, or there's been 32 times or teams or whatever. But Ray, this weekend, when the Giants meet the Packers, will be the first time ever that both teams playing the London game are over 500.
Wow.
Isn't that stunning? I think this will be the 17th game, or I don't know. It's a big number. But thus far, the number is 0 that we've had 2 above 500 teams meeting in London. Say what you will, Ray, about the NFL not caring about us. They decide to put the game over there, but at least they don't put good teams over there. We don't have to worry about really missing a battle of top teams in the NFC when they play in London.
So I've been blasting the NFL for not caring about North America and its real fans. You're basically saying they don't really care about the European fans either. Yeah. Interesting.
Take our Jaguars. Take our huddled masses of Houston Texans. Please welcome them to your jolly old country.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I did not know that. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. Like, it's amazing that this Giants team is the one to break the streak.
Right?
This team.
Your team, Kyle.
Up next is the number 47.8. That is Baker Mayfield's completion percentage when he's not throwing to Christian McCaffrey. I think on the dump off to McCaffrey, Ray, he is a stellar 19 of 23. He's really good there. But 47.8% on every other throw. That is absolutely brutal for Baker Mayfield.
He has been terrible. I mean, and then legitimately we're asking questions about when Sam Darnold's ankle going to be okay. That's like how bad it's been. And, when you're down there in your completion rate and the only guy that's worse is Justin Fields, And like you said, if it's not to one player, it's just dreadful. This level of completion percentage worked 40 years ago. Today, it's just absolutely abysmal.
Next number in numbers is 19.8. This number, courtesy, I think it was Bob Kravitz at The Athletic, covers the Colts. 19.8 is the percentage of their salary cap that the Colts have devoted to the offensive line. Tops in the NFL. Ray, no team has spent more money on their O-line than the Colts, and it's really bad. We were talking about the run blocking and the fact Taylor can't find space. The pass blocking is no better. That's probably the bigger story is, Matt Ryan and constantly shuffling his feet. He can never get set, but they've spent a lot of money, but it has not worked in Indianapolis.
Yeah, Pro Football Focus has their pass blocking and their run backing, both of them in the bottom half of the league. So they certainly are not getting out production-wise what they're putting in with the dollars.
Next number is 7. That is the number of teams since 1970. That's 52 years. 7 teams have started a year 4-0 and have also registered at least 400 total yards in every single one of those 4 games. Team number 7 is Philadelphia. Right? They're the only undefeated team, and they are roaring. Now, I worry about this weekend's trip to Arizona. We'll talk about that game probably tomorrow. But I think this could be their banana peel going to Arizona this weekend.
Yeah, I do a write-up every week at fantasyguru.com. It's like 13,000 words. It's pretty big, and it comes out on Thursday mornings. And I saw that data bit, too, for the Eagles. So that'll be in the article as well. It's pretty remarkable how the season has begun for them. We'll see if they can keep things going. I mean, this has been an offense that, and we saw it again last week, they got down big early. They came back, won a football game. It's been pretty impressive.
One last number here in numbers, and then we'll get back into our memorabilia showdown. The number is 4. That is the number of running backs since the turn of the century, 2000, that have had 3 multi-rushing touchdown efforts in the first 4 games of the year. So we have 4 guys. They are LaDainian Tomlinson, Priest Holmes, Lamar Miller, and Jamal Williams, Ray. Mm-hmm. Jamal Williams is on this list. 3 multi-touchdown efforts, all rushing through 4 games. Pretty impressive for Jamal.
Yeah, he's at that tidbit. It's in the article at fantasyguru.com too. It's a really standout piece. And, he has been really good. He was a guy, I remember talking with Jeff Mans in the preseason. We did a show over on Sirius where I kind of said, look, a guy I'm grabbing late or trying to grab late is Williams, because I thought there's potential there for him to have a solid season. There was the concerns about Swift and his ability to stay on the field. Never thought it'd be like this, of course. It's been a just miraculous start to the season for him. The offense has been tremendous, as we've discussed here on our show, Lunch Money. But the touchdown rate is not something that's sustainable, but it's been absolutely fantastic today.
Those are numbers. We bring them to you. They're on a Tuesday or Wednesday here on Lunch Money, getting you set for the week to come. Some things to make you think as you get up and ready for the next fantasy football week. Okay, got a few minutes left, Ray. We got a few more items of memorabilia. We started today's show by talking about home run ball 62 and wondering, would you trade it in for that? Would you trade that for this for that? We started with that ball. We immediately got rid of it. I got rid of it. Ray got rid of it. Our followers, our chat room guys, they got rid of it. Ray, right now, with a few more pieces of memorabilia to go, you are sitting on the Mike Eruzione Miracle on Ice jersey. I am still holding on to the microphone that was used by both Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig during the luckiest man on the face of the earth speech.
Didn't you make the move to the Tiger Woods?
No, I got rid of the Tiger Woods to get the microphone.
I'm totally missing this. Okay.
Yeah, I made that trade. I want the microphone, but I may still make another trade. Our room, I think, is on the USA jersey as well. Up next, Ray, we have the basketball from Kobe Bryant's last made shot in his NBA career, which I had to be reminded of this. It was against Utah. You see the photo there. I had to be reminded of this, Ray. Do you realize in his last game he scored 60 points?
He did. Yeah. Wow.
That's a way to go out the door back in 2016. This will be the basketball, Ray, from his last shot. You want that Eruzione jersey, or do you want this basketball?
I know my nephew will not be happy with me, but I'm keeping the jersey. I don't know what did or didn't happen with him away from the court. I'm not clear on that scenario at all. I apparently one of the few people that think that what did or didn't occur off the court matters more than some other people do. I want nothing to do with Kobe Bryant, so I'm keeping the jersey.
What did Mike Maruzioni do? Did he be?
He didn't do anything.
What did he do off the ice?
He smiled a lot and signed autographs.
Just
probably. I don't know what he did.
Yeah, just the dude. Actually, he did broadcasting for a while. Okay, so you're holding on to the jersey.
Yep.
Microphone for me.
Yeah.
I'm staying with the microphone. Now, get in the game in our room. He's going the Kobe ball. So that recent history there. It's cool to have that ball, but I'm still digging the microphone that I got. Up next in our sports memorabilia showdown. Let's see. We'll go Ray back here, Ray.
Okay.
The original painting by Norman Rockwell of the Tough Call, the one with the umpires where the rain is falling, where they're looking to the sky. It's a beautiful, beautiful painting. I think it was Saturday Evening Post. He would always do those images for. This would be an original painting. Now, I saw that a print recently went for over $1 million of this one. And people have all seen this. You may not think of it right off the top of your head, but it's where they're looking to the sky and the raindrops are falling. So Ray, this would be a real piece of art that you could hang in your house, which I don't know about the Mike Maruzioni jersey. I don't know how cool that is versus this one. You want the jersey, or are you going with the piece of art?
Yeah, I think that the piece of art would be super cool. And obviously, I think it's more valuable if we're talking financial situation, but I'm going to keep the jersey.
Okay.
I'm not classy enough to have the painting in my house. I'm more of the jersey kind of guy.
My problem with making a move to the painting, Ray, is you can put this up in your house, and yet everyone will walk by it not knowing that it's like original or anything. And I think that's the issue I have with art. Like, you can get away with the fake. Like, you can get away with the photocopy. You know?
Get the
like,
lithograph.
I know rich people can't. Rich people, you got to have the original, or else you look like. But guys like me and Ray, like Ray, it's you don't need like I could get that Norman Rockwell thing, put it up my house, and people would think that's a reprint.
They would. It's true.
They wouldn't even know it was the real thing. So I can't make that move. Still holding on to the microphone.
I understand that, and again, I think it's the right call to keep the microphone anyway. But I totally get your point.
The chat room is the microphone's the same way. People, they wouldn't. They'd see this microphone from the 1930s, Ray, and they'd wonder what in the hell is this.
Right.
You know, did Fred Astaire sing and dance into this thing? Like they'd see that microphone and they know something was special about it.
I agree. I agree with that. No, unless you're super fancy, you don't have a $500,000, $1 million piece of art hanging on the wall, right? So yeah, I agree with you. The microphone, and again, it's more attention grabbing, isn't it? It's I don't know, the shape of it, the color, the bronze. I mean, not the bronze, the silver, the chrome. Yeah, I think so.
One last one, Ray. Where are you going? Here we go. You're holding on to the Maruzioni jersey right now. We've got a 52 Mantle rookie card. 52 Mantle rookie card. What did it just go for? Like 12 million, something silly? Whatever it was. There it is, Ray.
9.
Now, this is a 9. It's a 9, it says.
Wow.
You want your Maruzioni jersey, or you want that baseball card?
In honor of my dad, who had one of these, he told the story his whole life, and his mother threw it out when he moved out of the house because she threw his box away that had the card and had the Mays rookie in it too. I'm taking the Mickey Mantle baseball card.
I am too. I held on to this damn Gary Ruth microphone for almost all the show. But Ray, give me the rookie card. Like, that's something he said even as a kid, I remember.
Yeah.
You know, and people say, yeah, it's $12 million. I'm not even looking at the money, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's great to have that as a fallback. You know, if I ever get canned from BSN, I was like, who cares? I got a $12 million baseball card, you know? But that right there, Ray, is like, even as a child, collecting cards, you knew that was the holy grail. Like, that was the thing. Like the Ty Cobb card, it's smaller, it's not as colorful. I get it. It's our Honus Wagner, not Ty Cobb. The Honus Wagner card. You know, it's smaller. It's a tobacco card. I don't even think it's in color or very light color. Like, this thing pops. This has got cool stuff going for it, Ray. It's like Americana is that Mickey Mantle card. So that's my choice.
Yeah, if it was a Jordan card, I'd stick with the Ruzioni. I'm going because, again, like you said, it's a Mantle card here.
Yeah. Well, I guess the Mantle card wins off. We may have to play this game from time to time.
I like it. Yeah.
It's a fun one. Little memorabilia showdown, memorabilia trade-in. Big thanks to Brian Drozda and Heather Klein for securing those images, having a little fun with that. No dessert today. Sorry, we sold out. We'll get you some tomorrow. We're back at noon Eastern right here on the Bettor Sports Network. Come your way Thursday. Getting you set for the Colts and the Broncos again. Jonathan Taylor out. Not playing on Thursday. Ray, have a good one. We'll talk then.
Sounds good, Kyle. You too.
Corey Nando and friends are next.